It is race time for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for the first time in NASCAR for 2025. And today we are at the Daytona International Speedway for the running of tonight's Truck Series season opener at, of course, again, the Daytona International Speedway. It doesn't matter what series, what form of motorsport you want to win at the World Center of Racing, Daytona Beach, Florida. And tonight, we're going to see which one of these truckers will go to victory lane, punch their ticket to the playoffs, first race of the season, and get on their quest to try to win a championship for maybe a certain somebody as well. A lot on the line here in this one, prestige in all, and we will have all 100 laps and 250 miles of our total distance for this race live right here on KRC. Appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight, our second stream of the day. We just wrapped up our second NASCAR Cup Series 50-minute practice session not that long ago. That ended up wrapping up a little over an hour ago, and now we are set to go for the Truck Series race here tonight. And I can't wait for this one because it's probably going to be super aggressive from the start. Truck Series always puts on a show at Daytona, and I don't think tonight's going to be any different. Starting lineup on the screen. Again, the new Raw feed debuted during the qualifying session on Wednesday night for the Daytona 500. We're going to see that again here today as well. Again, this is virtueofnascar.com. We will go through the starting lineup for this race before the pre-race festivities begin on pit road. And Ben Rhodes is going to be the pole sitter for this one here today. His teammate Ty Majeski at ThorSport Racing will also be starting on the front row. Remember, Majeski coming in as the defending series champion. Ben Rhodes, a multiple-time Daytona Truck Series race winner, looking to go to victory lane yet again here today. Corey Heim back in the Truck Series in the number 11 for Tricon Garage. Most winningest driver last season. Championship slipped away from him late. We'll see if he can try to get that first career Truck Series title this season. And also looking to win at Daytona. Inside of row 2 is where Heim starts. Grant Enfinger will start outside of row number 2. He also made the championship for a season ago, so good start for him here tonight after practice was rained out yesterday, but they did get the single car qualifying in earlier today. Row number 3 is going to be Jake Garcia and Chandler Smith. Row number 4 for Dawson Sutton and Caden Honeycutt. Clay Greenfield with Johnny Sauter making up row number 5. Sauter's going to be an interesting one to watch. He's in a ThorSport truck tonight where he has won multiple times at Daytona in his Truck Series career. In row number 6, it's going to be Matt Crafton and Tanner Gray. Raja Caruth and Frankie Muniz will be in row 7. Frankie Muniz will be running the full Truck Series season this year, so he'll be fun to watch, especially here tonight. He's had some good runs in the ARCA Series at Daytona. We'll see what his truck debut here will be. Daniel Hemrick and Spencer Boyd make up row number 8. Row number 9 for Justin Haley and Andres Perez de Lara. Bailey Curry with Mason Maggio in row number 10. Row 11 for Jack Wood and Norm Benning. Good to see Norm Benning back at the track this weekend and in the race nonetheless. Parker Kligerman, Matt Mills making up row 12. Row 13 for Nathan Bird and William Sawalich. Lane Riggs and Tony Breidinger will be in row number 14. Breidinger also a newcomer to the Truck Series full-time in 2025. Jason White and Connor Mosack will make up row 15. Row 16, our only Cup regular in the field today, Michael McDowell in the 07 for Spire Motorsports. Definitely going to be one of the favorites for this race. Josh Ream will start outside of row 16 alongside McDowell. Timmy Hill and Giovanni Ruggiero will make up row 17, and rounding out our 36 truck field in row 18 will be Stuart Friesen and Tyler Ankrum. Let's go trackside for the pre-race festivities as we have the national anthem, followed by, of course, the command to fire engines.
Heavenly Father, every good gift comes from you. Thank you for giving all the amazing talents and prospering all the hard work of all those involved in this race, from the drivers and crews to the engineers and manufacturers to the track and NASCAR leadership and personnel. Bless them in their work and bless their families to your glory. Thank you too for the fans. We ask blessing on them. And we pray by your grace for an exciting, fun race. And please keep all involved safe. In the name of the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
And now to perform our national anthem, please welcome the Melbourne High School Choir.
Oh, say, are you see? It's a place. What's so wrong? Spot stripes and bright stars. Was white, wild was so gallantly streaming. Oh, God's once more singing. Stars on the mercy. Was so
Long off season is officially over. We are ready to go racing live from Daytona coming up.
We've already gone through the starting lineup on our end for tonight's race. Our stage splits will be 20 laps in stages 1 and 2, 60 laps in stage 3. Again, making up our total distance of 100 laps, 250 miles. No inclement weather or anything of that nature tonight, so we will get our full race in, and it should be a good one, as always, here on the Friday night before the Daytona 500, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season opener at the Daytona International Speedway. I am geared up, ready to go. I've been waiting all speed weeks for, well, really the Daytona 500 on Sunday, but as well last night during the duels, and we're back for racing again today. We get a twofer tomorrow once again with the ARCA race at noon Eastern and the Xfinity Series race at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're actually going to have a triple header set of streaming tomorrow on the channel, as final practice will be mixed in between there as well for the Daytona 500 on the NASCAR Cup Series side of things. Practice was washed yesterday afternoon for the Truck Series. It was supposed to take place before the duels yesterday evening for the NASCAR Cup Series side of things. But even though there was no practice laps, we did have single truck qualifying earlier today, and that is where Ben Rhodes had qualified on the pole for this one alongside his teammate Ty Majeski. We did go through the starting lineup before the national anthem, but I will scroll through the leaderboard, at least on screen for those of you watching, and you can look to see where your favorite truck drivers are, maybe looking at some of the new faces and new places, with this being the first race of the season. Not all the names you see on the list are obviously running full-time in the Truck Series, and in fact, there are quite a few names on this list that are only running here tonight. I mentioned that Michael McDowell was the only Cup regular in the field. I'm sorry about that. Justin Haley is also in the field. Obviously, we mentioned him when we got to his row, but I kind of glossed over. So, two Spire Motorsports, excuse me, race teams having Cup Series regulars from their Cup program running tonight's truck race. And they're definitely very good when it comes to super speedway racing. Of course, Haley, multiple wins here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series level, and even his only career Cup win coming at Daytona in the summer of 2019. And then you look at Michael McDowell, of course, Daytona 500 champion of a couple years ago. Has had some strong runs on the super speedways, even in the next-gen era as well. I expect him to have a pretty good run here tonight, despite the fact that he doesn't have as much truck experience. And really the same can be said as well for Justin Haley. A lot of inexperience in the field, as we tend to see with the Truck Series, especially in more recent years. A lot of these drivers have never ran a race at the Daytona International Speedway before, so drafting, bump drafting, all new. We tend to see maybe some sloppier moments at times because of that. Robert Goodrich, Stu Isaac, Earl Arnold Jr., Douglas Lynch Jr., 36. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I'm not talking anything bad about Jamie Little. I would never talk bad about the actual people doing the broadcast every weekend. I just do my own because I love doing it and like to give you guys my in-depth broadcasting ability on a weekly basis. Nightly, as far as this week goes, 6 drivers will be competing for Rookie of the Year in the Craftsman Truck Series this season. Pretty stacked list. Got some bigger names on there, all in relatively competitive equipment. Regan Smith standing next to one of them, Tony Brightinger on pit road.
Running for Rookie of the Year, you have one starter here at Daytona in the trucks. How is that going to help out tonight for what you're getting ready to do?
Yeah, it's nice. I feel like I know a little bit of what to expect. Obviously, it's Daytona and always brings something different, but I feel like there's less nerves going around this time, second time at it. So, yeah, I'm feeling good.
Starting 28th, a little bit of work to do from the back of the pack here, but does that allow you to kind of feel it out early on?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we want to stay back here for too long, but yeah, definitely get a feel for it, make our way up, and make some moves.
Good luck tonight. Thanks.
I appreciate it.
Spent some time with Dawson Sutton. We race late models for the Rackley War team, so it's been fun hearing his questions and things leading into the anticipation of not only this race but really every race. And tonight will be a steep learning curve.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing for these rookies. They need to go out there and make mistakes. I think that is something they have to do. If you're just going to sit in line the whole race, you're going to get done at the end of the day and say, did I really learn how to work the draft? Did I learn how to move my way through the field? That's the stuff that's going to help them progress in the rest of their career. So my advice would be go out there, make the moves, make the mistakes. Don't wreck your car, but make the mistakes so you have a chance to learn to be better at Speedway racing.
You mentioned Dawson Sutton, very impressive.
And Dawson Sutton had quite a few starts last season, but still labeled as a rookie, of course, this year, now that he's running for points for the first time in the Craftsman Truck Series. It didn't run enough races, of course, to make him still eligible for the Rookie of the Year this year. Connor Mosak also had quite a bit of experience in the Truck Series on a part-time basis last year. Those are probably going to be the two favorites, I would imagine, for the Rookie of the Year as the Truck Series season progresses.
From Florida's executive
Got the command to fire engines.
Chef Justin Tuaneri. Drivers! Start your engine!
Engines are fired. 250 miles of racing from Daytona. That's all coming up next.
Yeah, definitely got to root for the Canes car whenever you can. I've been a fan of watching the Canes car. I think the first race I ever saw in person at Talladega, oh man, was it Greg Goulding, I think, was running the ARCA race that day in the Canes car? I was hoping he would get the win. He had a good run. He was top 10 the whole time. I think he ran, it might have been Greg Goulding in the Xfinity Series a couple years ago, too, that ran the Canes car when I was there at Talladega. Had a good run. So the Canes sponsorship tends to have some good runs on super speedways. We'll see what Tony Brightinger can do behind the wheel. I actually forgot she had the Canes sponsorship. I don't watch too many ARCA races from recent years, but I do remember the last time I was at Canes that there was not a cardboard cutout, but on like one of the menu signs they had her driver like profile on there. It wasn't just like her picture; it was her and then like some like random like racing facts about it, which I thought were kind of cool for driver engagement, of course, especially those of people that don't watch NASCAR probably don't know who she is, especially at the lower series level. But yeah, I gotta love those all the chicken sponsors. I always kind of rooted for John West Townley back in the day a little bit too in the Zaxby's car, and that was before I even had the ability to have Zaxby's for the first time. We don't have any Zaxby's anywhere around where I live, but we do have Raising Cane's. I think it originated in Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Ohio State Stadium was the first sellers of Raising Cane's, and then they expanded from Columbus. I don't know that for a fact, so don't 100% quote me on that. I'm like 80% sure that that's the case. I know they've had a title sponsor with Cane's Chicken for a long time at the Ohio State Stadium. I live a couple hours north of Columbus. I've been through there a couple times. There's always been Raising Cane's there for the longest time. Christy Hoffman, thanks for tuning into the stream. Billy Kramer, welcome in as well. Never tried it, only had Chick-fil-A once. It was okay. Yeah, Chick-fil-A's all right. I think my favorite chicken place, personally, I would go Zaxby's, but Bojangles is a very close second. The biscuits at Bojangles are by far the best thing there. I think the last time we talked Bojangles on the channel at one point last season, somebody said their biscuits were awful, and I was about ready to have a fight with the internet on that one. There might have even been multiple people that said that the biscuits for Bojangles were not good, and I think they're getting Bojangles and Popeyes mixed up. Because the biscuits at, like, you can go to Bojangles, and I don't even think the chicken is the best part, and their chicken's pretty good. Talking about chicken on the stream as we're waiting for the race to get going. We've gone through everything we needed to for the pre-race. Usually keep it pretty brief for the Truck and Xfinity Series races. It's just a matter of letting things get kicked off. Engines are fired, and I do believe the trucks are rolling on the racetrack right now. Yep, they're firing off a pit road. I wouldn't say that it was necessarily a pop-up shower, but practice for the Cup Series ended a little early due to raindrops. They had a little bit over 30 minutes of their originally scheduled 50 minutes of practice. Never lost the racetrack completely. It was just kind of misting for a little bit. That is all dissipated, and again, the radar is clear for the rest of the night. A couple times throughout the course of the race, I'll let you listen into the FS1 booth. In the booth tonight will be Jamie Little, Kevin Harvick, and Joey Logano. Current driver, former driver, lap-by-lap / play-by-play analyst. No Phil Parsons or Michael Waltrip tonight. That's odd.
All right, man. Have a great night.
Good to hear from him and his teammates starting alongside him on the pole. That's Ben Rhodes. It's been a minute since he was the fastest in qualifying. What do you think, Joey? Dial him up?
Yeah, let's dial him up too. Ben Rhodes, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Jamie Little up here at the Fox booth. You got us? Oh man, everything looks good up front. A couple F-150s on the front row. It looks cool. How do you plan on starting this race with your teammate next to you? How do you play the first 20 laps in this first stage? Well, you got that experience on your side too, so good luck in it, man.
All right, so that was our front row. Let's take a look now at our starting grid, sponsored by Craftsman. Established Ben Rhodes, and Tyler
Ben Jones.
And right behind them, Corey Heim. Next to him, Grant Enfinger.
Row 3, we've got Chandler Smith and Jake Garcia. Row 4, we've got Lebanon, Tennessee's Dawson Sutton and Cars Pro Late Model Tour champion, Caden Honeycutt.
And here, row 5, you have the all-time winner in Daytona, Johnny Sauter, coming back. Pretty cool to see that. Clay Greenfield as well, starting in row 5. Then in row 6, you see Matt Crafton, another veteran as well, along with Tanner Gray, looking to kick his season off with a good start.
Look at row 7, Frankie Muniz, the actor. Yes, he is full-time truck racer now.
Another really experienced racer there in row 9 with Justin Haley. Look for good things out of him tonight.
Then you see Parker Kligerman here in row 12. There's a lot of experience, understands the draft really well. Look for him to be towards the front of this race soon.
Row 13, William Swalich. On the other side of the experience, looking to gain that experience tonight.
Saw Lane Riggs back there. I don't think he's going to stay there long either. And row 16, welcome back Michael McDowell, Truck Series. For more on him, let's go down to Regan Smith. Hey, Regan.
Well, good evening, Jamie, and you're right. It has been a long time for Michael McDowell. In fact, 16 years since he last ran in the Truck Series. Furthermore, though, it's been 13 years since the last time we had a Daytona 500 champion running the Craftsman truck race here at Daytona. That was Ward Burton back then. I asked Michael earlier today, what are your thoughts on this race coming up this afternoon or this evening? He said, have you seen these truck races? I'm nervous. Those things get crazy out there. A little more work than he might want to do early on in the race, but look for Michael to get up front pretty quick. Amanda?
Hey, Regan, the winner of the two up in the championship returns for his third full-time season in the Truck Series, and Time's expectations are larger than ever. I asked him why him this season, and he said, I have the experience, and I'm due. He rolls off third tonight, and he said that he has to avoid the little mistakes here tonight to find success. So, Josh, does he add a championship to his resume? The journey starts tonight.
Well, Amanda, I can tell you that Chandler Smith on the other side is not entering this race at 100%. That's because last night, when trying to qualify for the Daytona 500, he slammed hard into the outside wall. He called this the hardest hit he's ever been in his entire career. He got x-rays last night. Nothing was broken, but he told me today, man, I am hurting. My whole body is in pain. But that's not going to stop him from racing tonight. Yes, Chandler Smith, after a couple of years in the Xfinity Series, is back in the Truck Series. He has something to prove. And he said, this year, it is all about getting race wins and winning that championship in Phoenix.
From last night, Joey, I have a tough time explaining to people when you wreck those cup cars and you've been in trucks and Xfinity, it's a whole different feeling. So that one definitely banged him up a little bit.
Yeah, I was watching that race from inside our hauler, and I watched that. And the first thing goes, "Oh," because you just know how much that hurts. The minimum it knocks the wind out of you, but definitely, probably some concerns if you're doing X-rays. But glad to see he's okay. Probably doesn't feel great, but tough. Right, got to be tough if you're gonna be a race car driver. Sometimes you got to jump in and start your season off in the Truck Series. So just running for points, so you got to do that.
Absolutely. So running for points, he's full time, can't skip out. Let's now take a look at our track description that's sponsored by Craftsman.
Yeah, right here you see 100 laps, 250 miles, short stages, 20 laps in the first stage, another 20 laps to make it 40 in the second stage, 60 laps to finish it off to lap 100. And then you got pit road speed, 55 miles an hour. Don't want to push that too much. And your fuel window, I think this is a broad number. It says 32 to 35. They may be able to push it a little bit more depending on, cautions as well, but what they're willing to save in the pack. The difference of fuel being used if you're the leader versus being third in line or fifth or 10th in line is a huge difference. So that may come into play later in the race, especially with the amount of green, white checkers we may see tonight.
Yeah, and as we look at the track description here, this is a very similar to Talladega type racetrack, 2.5 miles long. I will spit that out at some point. But the big thing to me, the difference between the guys and gals that have raced at Talladega that come to Daytona, it's narrow. It's a lot narrower than what we have at Talladega. So this place gets tight when you get 2 and 3 wide.
So the lights are out on the pace truck leading the field. That means we will be going green this time by. And the kickstart of the Truck Series season in 2025 is about to begin. And the lights are back on as it looks like somebody stalled out at the entrance of pit road. Oh no, that was a replay. Okay, never mind. I muted it so I didn't get to listen to any audio when that took place. But something happened to the 81 truck, and I don't believe that they are going to make the start. But the drivers at the front of the field will be making the start. And ThorSport Racing, after winning the championship in 2024, will lead the field to the green. It is Ben Rhodes and Ty Majeski taking us underway to start the 2025 Craftsman Truck Series season. And a great jump, coordinated at that, for the 99 of Ben Rhodes to get down in front of his teammate Majeski in the 98 well before entering turn 1. Although Majeski having a tough time trying to get to the back bumper of his teammate, quite a bit of a gap has been built up. And as the pushing efforts were going on in the outside lane between the 38 and the 9 to try to catch the 99, 99 moved up to try to occupy that spot. So down the back straightaway, the 38 pushes the 9 of Enfinger into the back of Ben Rhodes. Enfinger chases his truck down the hill into turn 3 to the bottom of the racetrack and blocked again by Ben Rhodes as they get to speed off of turn 4. The pole sitter is going to lead the opening lap of the race. Enfinger still looking to make moves. Jumps back into the outside temporarily at least, and blocked again by Ben Rhodes. We'll see if he makes an aggressive move to try to take the lead. He's tried several times. Now he finally gets down to the inside, and that will split up the ThorSport trucks at the front of the field. One truck way offline, entering turn 1 down on the bottom of the racetrack. That is Clay Greenfield in the 95. We do stay green, but he is slow on the apron through turns 1 and 2 as he is falling out of the lead draft. And is very much off the pace. Not sure if he might have felt a tire going down or some sort of a mechanical issue. Could be maybe just getting out of harm's way early. But Clay Greenfield dropping out of harm's way. He is last on the lead lap. We'll see if he makes it back to pit road. Once again, we do stay green. And lap 2 will be led by the pole sitter as well, it looks like, of Ben Rhodes in the 99 once again. Ty Majeski starting to lose a little bit of ground to his teammate, though. Not a great initial start for Majeski either. maybe struggling with the truck as far as trying to get all the power out of it he can in the early laps. Could be a bit tentative, and drivers that are more aggressive around him are just able to make the pass. Side by side through most of the top half of the field from about third on back. Remember, all these teams didn't get any practice. So this is the first time we've seen multiple trucks on the track at the same time this weekend. Practice was rained out yesterday. It was going to be the only 50-minute session for the truck field. Able to get all their practices in up to this point. For the Cup Series sake, they had a couple of 60-lap dual races last night as well. First lap not led by the pole sitter Ben Rhodes that time by the line. It's Chandler Smith who leads his first lap of the day. 5 positions gained from the 6th starting spot for Chandler Smith to get to the lead. Wasn't clear at the start-finish line when he led the lap, but he did have the bumper out in front as he works the double yellow line. And the caution. It's a little delayed on my TV. I did glance down at the leaderboard early and noticed that there was a caution. Really hope it's not going to be a wreck, otherwise I probably just ruined everything. No, it is. It's a spin for the 45 at the front of the field, and that's going to be a pretty hard hit into the inside retaining wall. Caden Honeycutt, who has a lot of promise this season for Nice Motorsports, running the full Truck Series program, could be an underrated championship contender. And obviously race win contender tonight, running towards the front of the pack. It's turned off turn 4, and the caution flag is out. Definitely looked like he had some help from the 38 truck. Although there was quite a few trucks that were kind of bobbing and weaving in the early laps trying to keep control, but it almost looked like he was a bit out of control on his own. 38 closed quickly, definitely got into the back of him, and basically finished Honeycutt off. A slide to the inside retaining wall head on off the exit of turn 4. No chance to make the save to keep from having that hard impact. And the night will come to an early exit here for Honeycutt, just a handful of laps into the race. Lap 4, the time of the caution on the exit of turn 4. Couple of lead changes in these early laps. It looked like Ben Rhodes had gotten to the lead right before the caution flag came out. After Chandler Smith would have led the lap before that, Chandler obviously fell to the inside of row 2, lost a couple spots right before the caution came out after the contact with the back of the 75, or 45, excuse me. McDowell in the 07, yep. And then Justin Haley in the race as well, as far as the Cup Series regulars. McDowell up to 16th. And Justin Haley, trying to work himself forward, is already up to 8th after starting all the way back in row number 9. That will happen with all the inexperience. Yeah, the weird thing is Honeycutt ran pretty much the entire... Well, he ran a majority of the season last year. Therefore, he's not listed as Connor Mosack, who ran at least a few races last season at the Truck Series level. They weren't running enough races, so they are deemed rookies for this season, but not the case for Honeycutt. Definitely have to have the quick awareness to not cause that incident if you're Chandler Smith. But even if he gets out of the gas earlier than he probably did, seeing that the truck in front of him was out of shape, there's so many trucks in that as well. That was going to be tough to get completely avoided there without some sort of an accordion effect. And when you're stacking them up in an accordion line 180, 190 plus miles an hour, things could go sideways quick, as we just saw. Still under caution as cleanup continues. Lights are still on the pace truck as well, as they've not gotten the 1-to-go signal. I'm sure we'll hear from Honeycutt when he exits the infield care center. He is still in the truck as of right now. Surprisingly, was able to drive it back to his pit box. But with the damage sustained, I'd be shocked if he was able to continue. He made a big move just to get to the lead. Kind of a slingshot, if you will, on Ben Rhodes. Went from running in line behind him to pulling out a line, making the move. And really, I mean, looking at the replay from the onboard camera of the 38 of Chandler Smith, it almost didn't even really... Oh, okay, he was out of shape. He was a little bit out of shape right before he got there, but it was a lot closer than what the aerial cam seemed to show when we had that initial replay, or even seeing it in live time. That was a pretty hard impact. I was surprised he was able to drive it back to the pit road. Granted, he wasn't far. Wasn't like it was a long trip or anything, but kind of a big save there for Chandler Smith as he almost went around as well. I wonder if he had gotten tagged from behind after he made contact with the 45. His truck was definitely a bit loose. So after driving it back to the pit box, it doesn't look like he's going to leave his pit box under his own power. Now Honeycutt's truck from there will get towed into the garage area. So yes, his night is done. Still has to take the trip, I believe, to the infield care center, as he is retired from the race following that crash, even though he drove it back to the pit box. Yeah, bum draft right in the middle of the corner definitely doesn't help either. It's where these vehicles are at their lightest. Right there and through the center of the tri-oval as well. I'd argue they're even lighter during the center of the tri-oval because of the less degrees of banking and the faster speeds than what you would see in the mid-corner with more banking. Either way, still a tough spot. Tough for Chandler Smith, causing 2 accidents here 2 nights in a row with the dual race wreck yesterday on a late block. And now this early wreck in tonight's Truck Series race. Single truck, only one was taken out of it. And again, that was Caden Honeycutt, who's a pretty big name that we'll be seeing up towards the front of the field in the Truck Series throughout the season. We've got our first pit stops of the race. Some of the field is coming down.
This will be an unscheduled pit stop for him. Look for them to go inside.
Matt Craftsman is in.
Going to work on the ECU in this truck. On the initial start, he hit the rev shift just a little bit and said it cut off when he did that briefly. Didn't think it was anything major, but then later on him. So tough break for him early on. They're going to see if they can diagnose the problem and get it fixed for the rest of the race.
25th season of racing for Matt Crafton. Not what he wanted early on here as they continue to try to diagnose that race truck. We're 7 laps in, 93 laps to go. And high fives all around. Forgot the green flag once again for this.
We're having a good time tonight. We might be under caution for the first time, but we're definitely having a good time right here on KRC on the channel. Another commercial break on Fox's coverage. We'll stay right here for the moment. Top 5 for the upcoming restart. We'll have Ben Rhodes in the race lead, Johnny Sauter 2nd, Tanner Gray 3rd, Andres Perez de Lara 4th, Grant Enfinger 5th, Chandler Smith will be 6th, 7th for Ty Majeski, Corey Heim 8th, Matt Crafton 9th, Dawson Sutton rounds out the top 10. I noticed they have far less stats to go off of. Oh, I'm not on the raw feed. That's why. I didn't even realize that till just now. There we go. Now we've got all the usual stats that we had over the last couple of days. I think the leaderboards are different between both of them. Actually, it looks like the raw feed is on qualifying. I don't know what's going on with the raw feed. We'll go back to the race leaderboard. That was working well for us, although it doesn't have as many stats. At least it's working properly. 6 laps led for Ben Rhodes as he continues to lead under the caution. Frankie Muniz going for the Rookie of the Year. Yes, he is. He is one of the 6 full-time rookies for the Truck Series this season. He will be running the full schedule. And the restart coming up here shortly. 12 cautions in last season's race, already starting off with 1 in the first 10 laps of tonight's truck race. We're guaranteed at least 2 more with the stage ends at lap 20 and lap 40. Part of the reason the aggression might have been up at the very beginning of this race, there were quite a few moves being made at the very front of the field when the opportunities to make a pass for the lead were available. Field is doubled up. They will be going green this time, working their way into turn 3 right now, and will be at lap 10 on the restart. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you have not done so yet. Our goal is to get to 100 likes for tonight's Craftsman Truck Series race on the channel. Usually for the truck and Xfinity races, we try to get to 100. So we'll see if we can do that. We've hit our like goal so far for every stream this weekend as far as the races go, qualifying on Wednesday night as well for the Cup Series, but we'll up the ante from 50 to 100 for today. Slow creeping caution speed at about 70 miles per hour. Looks creeping compared to the speeds we're about to see here in a second when we get the green flag to drop again. 2 more ThorSport teammates on the front row yet again. This time it's Ben Rhodes with Johnny Sauter. Green flag is in the air. And actually Sauter lined up outside of row 2 rather. And Tanner Gray, the 15, is down on the bottom in the Toyota Tundra. Nose to nose for the lead. Rhodes didn't get as good of a launch on this restart compared to the initial start. And a great push on that bottom lane as well, with Justin Haley in the 7 now up in contention to lead laps. Obviously a good driver to have in your rearview mirror. And I got that wrong too. That's not even the 7. It was a 77. Perez. Good young phenom at Spire Motorsports in that ride throughout the course of the season. I think he's going to be interesting to watch throughout the year as well. He's had some good races down in the ARCA level at Daytona the last couple of years. Expect him to be a contender here this evening, especially having the teammates he has tonight of Michael McDowell and Justin Haley. That could be huge for Andres Perez. Ben Rhodes did lead the first green flag lap of this restart. We're halfway through stage 1 officially now. 10 laps down, 10 laps to go. Field gridlock 2x2. Bump drafting at the front of each line and at the very front of the field. Got to be careful in the Truck Series. Same for the Xfinity Series. You don't want to lock bumpers for too long. Otherwise, you could get black flagged. Although I don't seem to see NASCAR really mandate that much, I feel like. They can get away with quite a bit of pushing, but still don't want to blur those lines too much and have to force NASCAR's hand on the officiating side of things. So kind of a couple quick bumps and then let go. That's what you got to do on these lower series. Cup Series, obviously, you can lock bumpers all day long. Much more experienced drivers in that field, especially when it comes to super speedway and or pack racing. Tanner Gray leads his first lap of the race the last couple of times by. After Rhodes led the first lap following the restart. Middle of the back straightaway, though, Ben Rhodes gets the push from his teammate Johnny Sauter to pull clear into turn 3. Didn't move down to the inside. Rhodes not throwing as many blocks as he was on the initial start when he was trying to hold on to the front of the field. And it's Gray who's going to pull clear off of turn 4 on the bottom instead. Gray will lead his 3rd consecutive lap. The 99 in the middle of the tri-oval just past the start-finish line gets quickly back to the outside. So Sauter's giving him some good pushes down the straightaway to get his nose back out in front. By the time they exit the corners, it seems like the bottom is the way to go in the early laps. That higher middle line was the more preferred lane during both dual races last night. But the bottom line working well here in the Truck Series. Only half a second split between 1st and 13th on the leaderboard. We'll go all the way down to see what the gap is for a 1 second interval. Looks like the top 20 within 1 second of the race lead as of right now. And at times we'll see that even tighter if we get some 3-wide racing in at some point most of the way through this lead pack. Maybe some electrical issues still going on with the 88 of Matt Craftsman. Missed the playoffs for the first time in his Truck Series career last season. Another winless year for Craftsman. Waiting to see if he can get back to victory lane before his career is up on the NASCAR Truck Series level. Craftsman, a 3-time series champion. Most championships of any current or active driver on the Truck Series side. Got one truck trying to form a third lane, but they're going to need help if they're going to go anywhere. We'll see if anybody's going to move up with them. Probably because we're getting close to the end of the stage and the top 10 receive the stage points. 1 point per position and a playoff point to the stage winner as well. Grant Enfinger taking the lead for the first time into turns 1 and 2. We'll see if he can lead a lap this time around. Yes, he did get credited with 1 lap led already in the race, so this is the second time that Enfinger has led already tonight. And again, it's Sauter giving the big pushes to Ben Rhodes in the 99. Both Rhodes and Sauter have won at the Daytona International Speedway in their Truck Series careers. And both times they were running for Thor Sport Racing. We got another spinner. And the 5 truck is around. That's Tony Breidinger. As she slaps the inside wall, driver's side door first. Not quite as hard of a hit as what we saw from a spin earlier in that same area of the racetrack from Caden Honeycutt. This was a light scrub. Just enough to knock that left front fender in. They're definitely going to have to pull the fenders out of the race truck, but she should be able to continue. It doesn't look like she's flat spotted the tires, but she is able to roll the truck back to pit road without severe damage. She was down on the bottom lane of the racetrack. We'll see if we had contact. Oh, it looks like actually she might have lost it on her own. I think the contact from behind finished her off, but it looked like she was way more sideways with her truck than what we had seen from Caden Honeycutt before he had the contact from the 38, which sent him down into the same area of the racetrack. So 2 cautions in stage 1 here as we're at lap 16. And this is going to be an interesting spot with 5 laps to go in the stage. I think we will get a restart in here. 4 to go, I guess, technically in the stage now. I think we're going to get a restart. That's going to be my prediction. It's probably only going to be 1 lap. Luckily, she was able to drive to pit road pretty quickly. And it doesn't look like there was a lot of debris, if any, left behind. So once NASCAR opens pit road, hopefully this time they can give them the 1 to go signal the following time. Which means we would have a 1 lap green-white checker to finish stage 1. Second caution. RJ, thanks for tuning in. Patty and Rumdy Creations, welcome to the stream tonight. Hope you didn't miss anything good. Well, we've had 2 incidents so far, both single truck. Caden Honeycutt out of the race, and then Tony Breidinger right here at lap 17 is the reason we're currently under caution. Got the graphic up here at the top of the screen. Shows the green flag laps, the caution time spent. I like that. It's very similar to what Fox has kind of shown over their graphics the last couple of years, and looks like we'll have that all season, not just for the Fox races. Might be a lot of yellow tonight. We had 12 cautions in this race last year, and I feel like the Truck Series tends to bring more cautions in their season opener at Daytona compared to the other 2 series. Having 2 of them already in the first 17 laps. had just as many lead changes as we've had caution laps, 6. I wonder if we're going to have more lead changes by the end of the race or more caution laps. Pit road is open this time. Very few takers. A couple trucks already towards the back of the field. And 2 drivers not running for points. So that would make sense for them to come down. Might as well. That would be the 07 of Michael McDowell and the 75 of Parker Kligerman.
That they made for the
A couple others behind them are also in.
Craftsman and his issues continue. We'll step aside. We'll wrap up the stage when we come back. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, 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 bang.
All right. Yeah, we're definitely going to have a 1-lap green-white checker. I kind of figured. Luckily, with this track being big enough, 2.5 miles, and the slower pace obviously under caution, I figured there was going to be enough time to be able to open pit road. Luckily, it was a single truck incident with not a lot of debris left behind from the incident as she just lightly scrubbed the inside wall. Definitely did a good job not hitting it head on, obviously, like we saw from Caden Honeycutt, who might have been going in at a little bit faster speed. Could have been the reason as to why Honeycutt was not able to oversteer his car in the opposite direction to keep from nosing into the wall as hard as he did. Rookie mistake on her part. Yeah, she was definitely loose before the contact. Honeycutt might have been too, but I'd probably put more of the blame there on Chandler Smith. I wouldn't put as much blame on the truck that was right in line behind the 5 of Breidinger. Definitely a light area of the racetrack, though, to have 2 incidences in that same exact spot right off the exit of turn 4. We didn't see any of the incidents in the Cup race yesterday taking spot in that area of the racetrack. Dual race number 2, we had one coming right to the start-finish line at the end of the race and one right in the middle of the back straightaway following the green flag pit stops. Then in dual race number 1, seemed to be turns 1 and 2 was Calamity Corner in that race. William Wiley, thanks for tuning in. Been watching without sound. What's the deal with the MRN scoreboard? So this is the live leaderboard or the raw feed, I guess, technically, that NASCAR has on their website. So it's not on MRN. But it's what we have. I like the old one better, too. I definitely much rather prefer the old raw feed that we used to have. It was just nice having it all on one screen without having to really scroll. You'd maybe be missing the bottom couple of names at the very lower end of the leaderboard when I tried to expand the image on my desktop for you guys, but it's very unfortunate that we don't have what we used to have. Just the, trying to think, second year we've done all 3 series, pretty much every race throughout the season. We did the Cup Series the year before, so this is the 3rd year of doing live commentary streams. In the last 2 years, we had the same raw feed, but unfortunately this year it has changed. And we actually had it for the Clash. We had the old one. But I'd like to see more of a complete lineup than the leaders. Oh, I wholeheartedly agree on that. I could scroll down as much as I can. It's tough to do while I'm talking. And obviously, I'll give you guys updates on the leaderboard periodically all the way through as well. About to get back to racing here. 1-lap green-white checker before we'll get another caution at the end of lap 20 for the stage 1 break. Contenders that are at the front of the field. Control truck on the restart will be Ben Rhodes on the outside. Grant Enfinger is on the inside lane to the front rows. The green flag is back in the air. Thor Sport Racing on the outside yet again. Johnny Sauter, Ben Rhodes. I feel like Rhodes progressively getting worse with each passing restart, and Grant Enfinger gets the push of a lifetime from the 15 of Taylor Gray, excuse me, in the 15 truck. Working their way down the back. Oh, the Thor Sport trucks blowing by on the outside. 4 trucks in line down on the bottom. Enfinger finally picked up in the draft again by Taylor Gray, but both the 66 and 99 are clear. Sauter not running for points here, so I doubt he's going to try to make a move for the stage win. I would expect Ben Rhodes to hang on as they work their way back to the start-finish line. Just getting up to speed after the restart. 3 wide just outside the top 5 as they cross the stripe. And stage 1 is in the books. Ben Rhodes will win the first stage of the 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. Johnny Sauter second, Grant Enfinger third, Zane Smith fourth, and Corey Heim rounds out the top 5. Tanner Gray fell all the way back to 6th after restarting inside of row 2 with just that 1 lap. Ty Majeski ends up 7th in the stage, getting stage points as well. Daniel Hemrick in the 19 truck getting 8th place. Andres Perez de Lara 9th, and Giovanni Ruggiero, another rookie, in the 17 getting some points there for Tricon Garage, rounding out our top 10. Again, 1 point per position for those top 10. And now we're back under caution again for the stage 1 break at lap 20, our 3rd yellow already in this race. Stage 2 will also be 20 laps, so we'll race until the end of lap 40. Hopefully we get more green flag racing coming up here in stage 2. I'd imagine this is going to be a pretty quick yellow as well, considering we just had a caution before. Yeah, more caution laps than lead changes so far. 17 laps led for Ben Rhodes. From the pole, nonetheless, he's definitely got a quick truck. And his teammates have worked well with him, whether it was Ty Majeski at the start of the race or Johnny Sauter towards the back portion of stage 1. No problem, still support you. I greatly appreciate that. It definitely hinders the experience, I'm sure, for you guys, but there's really nothing I can do when it comes to that. Under caution, I'll let you look at the lineup outside of the top 10. Some of the other young guns that'll be competing for race wins throughout the season on that list, like Elaine Riggs, Raja Caruth, who each had wins last season. Riggs getting a couple of them in the playoffs in his rookie year. He has a better start to this season. I definitely expect him to be a Championship 4 competitor. If I had to pick my early Championship 4, I am going to go definitely Corey Heim. I'll go, honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of the same make the Championship 4 this year. Obviously, he has to do much better in the regular season. One of the Thor Sport trucks between Majeski and Rhodes will get in. Rhodes just had such a down year last year. More on that in a second as we have pit stops for the leaders.
And Andres Perez having a very strong run so far tonight, running in the 8th position right now, has been raving about how good his truck is, how super stable it is. But as they were coming to the green and white checkered flag at that stage right there, a huge moment off of turn 4 gave him an opportunity to catch his breath and really settle things down in that truck. They're going to do fuel only, otherwise he likes it.
Interesting. We had a few trucks stay out.
Yeah, Kevin and I were talking about this a little bit. You're thinking that there was enough cautions in the first stage there that even if he didn't.
I'm going to go bold prediction here. I'm going to say no Thor Sport trucks make the Championship 4 this year. Give me Grant Enfinger, Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, and Lane Riggs. Season opener, Daytona, you heard it from me. I'm actually going to put that in a Google Docs page real quick so I don't forget. My Truck Series Championship 4. Give me Enfinger, Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs, and Corey Heim, and give me Corey Heim winning the championship. Lane Riggs is going to be tough to beat at Phoenix, but give me Corey Heim. because he's been so close 2 years in a row to a title, and you would imagine he's going to be bound to break through and finally win the championship one of these times. Daniel Hemrick is going to be the leader when we begin stage 2. He was one of the drivers, I believe, that pitted before that restart. And obviously the drivers staying out to try to get more stage points and compete for that stage win are going to be now back in the middle of the pack for the first time. So those fast ThorSport trucks that were at the front of the field early, it's going to be fun to try to watch them navigate traffic on this next restart. See if they can stay together and work their way to the front of the field. Hemrick, Haley will be leading the way on the next restart. Couple of bigger names. I'll title this 2025 NASCAR Predictions. I usually don't do it like a Championship 4 preview, but I think this would be hilarious if I got them all right during the season opener. Heim, Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs, it's a bold prediction not having a ThorSport truck in there. The only thing with that, I can see Majeski winning Martinsville pretty easily. But I'm going to bank on Lane Riggs maybe winning that race. Riggs for the championship, I feel like, is a really solid one. If he makes it to Phoenix, he's a great short track racer, obviously proving that all season, but especially in the playoffs with winning a couple of races. And even at Phoenix, he pretty much ran top 3 the whole day. He was the second best truck to Ty Majeski that entire race. But I'm being a little bit bold. I think the one I'm least confident of that group of 4 I picked is actually Chandler Smith. Even though coming from the Xfinity Series full-time and already having truck experience that he did beforehand, he didn't quite have the Truck Series career that, you know, a Corey Heim is having right now, even a Grant Enfinger, who I had on my list. Both Enfinger and Heim were in the championship 4 a season ago. Got a runaway tire that's found its way back to pit road. Looks like it came off the 22 team. It's like the 99 team went under the hood. Can't tell if they're changing a spark plug. Well, we saw the 88 of Matt Craftsman having some electrical issues, so maybe it has spawned concern for the other ThorSport trucks as well. So definitely a problem across the board, it seems, on the ECU standpoint for ThorSport Racing. Very early in the race still to have these problems. So definitely going to be something to watch as we get later and later into the night. The rogue tire. It found its way back home, though. That's all that matters. It didn't cause an extra caution, so that's also good. Should get the restart any second here. I would imagine they'll be going green this time by. Already the 4th lap of yellow. After having that one green flag lap of racing for the end of the stage. Once again, top 5 on the restart. We'll have Daniel Hemrick in the lead, Justin Haley in 2nd, Jack Wood 3rd, Jake Garcia 4th, and Tyler Ankrum will be in 5th. I believe the lights are out on the pace truck and they will be going green this time. Yeah, field is doubled up off the exit of turn 4. Pretty decent crowd on hand for a Truck Series race here on this Friday night. And I will say that they had quite a few butts and seats during the duels last night as well. Good to see early in the weekend. Of course, the Daytona 500 sold out again on Sunday. Won't see any empty seats come this weekend. Green flag is in the air. And Hemrick's got the 91 of Jack Wood very close to that back bumper, pushing him all the way into turn 1. And a bigger gap built up between the 13 and the 7. Busch all on his own to take the lead. Kyle Busch had some good runs last season on the drafting racetracks that he ran in the Truck Series. Of course, dominated that Atlanta race in the very same truck that Justin Haley is racing here tonight. And the fact that he didn't need a bump draft and was able to stay in front of the field, I think shows the power that Haley's got underneath the hood of that Spire Motorsports Chevrolet. And he'll lead his first lap of the race this time by at the line. Already down to 14 laps to go in stage 2. The 19 of Eckes works his way right back to the outside yet again, though. Middle of the tri-oval. That second half of the front stretch, we've seen some major moves being made on the outside. Both the ThorSport trucks were getting their biggest runs in that area of the racetrack with the bump draft, and it seemed to be the case again there at the 91 and the 19. Off the exit of turn 2, nose-to-nose at the front of the field. A lot of dancing around with the bumps going to the back of the trucks that are leading each line. Definitely look a lot more unsteady than we saw with the Cup cars. I think that lack of practice entering this race tonight at the tail end of the pack. We didn't really see 3 lines of racing at all through the first stage. Coming to the checker there a little bit, a couple of trucks pulled out of line, but nothing generated as far as trying to get a run to move a line to the front of the field in the 3rd lane yet. A couple other trucks moving up, though, right in front of them. That's Ben Rhodes and Matt Kraft of the 2 ThorSport trucks. Lane Riggs has gone with them from behind, and the 2 trucks in the middle of the tri-oval that pulled out in front of them were Grant Enfinger and Parker Kligerman. Kligerman, a great super speedway racer at the Truck Series level, has a win at Talladega back in his Red Horse racing days, and he's getting a massive shot from Enfinger. So after talk of having no 3 wide in stage 1, here comes Parker Kligerman to the front of the field with a rocket ship. And a half block being made to move from the bottom lane to the middle groove in front of the 19 for Justin Haley. 13 truck gets a little loose down on the bottom lane of the racetrack, so that inside line on the double yellow line is losing time. Kligerman leads his first lap of the day, and nearly the entire lead pack is 3 by 3 now. Kligerman all clear at the front of the field and moves all the way down to the double yellow line, getting into the corner, and it is getting dicey already. I don't like this. I just haven't seen enough steadiness out of these trucks to tell me that they could do this for a long enough period of time without causing an incident. We've already had 2 single truck incidences already. What a move by Enfinger! End to the back straightaway. As soon as Kligerman pulled up to make a block, he went from the top to the middle, took the lead, slings all the way to the inside to block the 13 of Jake Garcia as well, and Enfinger's back out in front. He stays in line behind him on the outside now. Textbook move by one veteran over another. 18 positions gained for Rhodes and Crafton, who were on pit road for a lengthy period of time. Rhodes, who just won stage 1, had to restart at the tail end of the field, and he's all the way up to the inside for second on Kligerman. Clear of him, gets a draft in line behind the 9 truck down the back straightaway. And is going to need a push from behind now from his teammate Jake Garcia if he's going to want a shot at the lead. But he's definitely got the horsepower underneath that Ford to try to get it done. Enfinger and Kligerman nose to tail again on the outside lane. Ben Rhodes pulls to the inside even without a push from Jake Garcia. The pole sitter definitely has some single truck speed. No surprise there. Enfinger moving down. Might have gotten side drafted a little bit by the 99, although still breaks clear entering turn 1. Lap 31 here at the Daytona International Speedway. 10 laps to go in stage 2. What a battle we have up here at the front of the field. Side-by-side commercial break on FS1 will stay obviously right here. Kligerman with a big block going from the top of the racetrack all the way down to the bottom to cover Ben Rhodes. And the race leader went with him. Mirror driving as well was Enfinger. Our current race leader, Grant Enfinger, now has led for 5 laps. Average running position in the top 5 for Grant Enfinger so far in this race, as he has the best average running position of any driver, and that includes Ben Rhodes, who's led the most laps so far after winning stage 1. Still 17 laps led for him as he quickly got into the top 3, though has not taken the lead yet in this stage. Although down the back straightaway this time, Rhodes does have a big push coming for the 99. We'll see if Enfinger's going to make the block in turn 3. Right now stays with Kligerman as he's done for the most part, whether both of those trucks were on the top or the bottom. It does seem like the 75 and the 9 are working together. 3 Fords on the outside. You got the 2 ThorSport trucks like I mentioned already, and then you got a couple more Fords behind them. The front row 34 of Lane Riggs, and then the other of the ThorSport trucks, the 98 of Majeski, the 66 of Johnny Sauter. Jake Garcia is still up there in the top 10 as well, but he's down on the bottom. He's the only ThorSport truck not on the top of the racetrack. But all 5 ThorSport trucks are running inside the top 10 here at Daytona, about a third of the way through the race. 8 laps left in the stage. 7 to go this time by. The third lane is starting to dissipate a little bit. Don't have quite as many trucks up there, only 5 of them now. Sauter moves out of line, trying to move that third group. Craftsman up in front of him. And we'll see if Ben Rhodes follows. Doesn't need to for now, as he's still in front of the 34 and what is now the second line of trucks in the middle. Craftsman not really able to pull the outside forward. Not yet, at least. We'll see on the back straightaway if he gets enough of a push from his teammate. Same spot where he was giving his push to his teammate Ben Rhodes. Yeah, Craftsman's got a bigger run this time. Here he comes. Massive shot from Ty Majeski, and Craftsman will take the lead. It's been a couple seasons since he's won his truck race, and even with the ECU problems early, Craftsman quickly finds himself at the front of the field. Oh, very, very sketchy moment there. Off turn 4. 99 slid off from that middle groove and crowded his teammate Majeski almost into the wall off the exit of the corner. We've seen trucks get loose in that area of the track on the bottom lane already and nearly had an incident towards the outside of the racetrack at turn 4. Separated the outside trucks just a little bit. That Lane Riggs on the bottom, even without a bump draft, was able to pull back along the inside of race leader Matt Craftsman. Riggs and Majeski, the only 2 drivers in the top 5 right now who have not led yet tonight. Which is surprising for Majeski considering he started on the front row and has been up towards the top 10 for most of the race. Lap truck in the 6 of Norm Benning starting to back up the bottom lane. Everybody deserting behind the 9 and the 75 as they're boxed in. Still 3 apron trying to get out of the way. Tight squeeze. Carruth almost got sandwiched in the middle of that 4-wide scramble. Might have been a little bit of contact, not enough to send anybody around, and we're definitely not 3 wide anymore. That ended any 3 wide racing we had going on there for about a half a dozen laps or so. And it's the 3 ThorSport trucks at the top of the racetrack leading the way of Craftsman, Rhodes, and Majeski. All Fords in the top 5. Both the front row trucks are up there behind them as well. Chandler Smith and Lane Riggs. Though Riggs is leading the bottom lane of trucks right now in that 5th position while the top 4 are clear up high. And with the lack of numbers now in the double yellow line towards the bottom, Riggs is starting to go backwards and he's getting freight trained. Quickly went from 5th to outside the top 10. 15th and falling for Riggs. Jack Wood slides into the 5th place position with Stuart Friesen now behind him, battling with Daniel Hemrick. 4 laps to go in stage 2. Who will be the next to pull out a line and try to make a move for a potential stage win or at least a higher finish in this stage with points being awarded shortly? We've got some smoke on the 42. Right in front of the leaders as they lapped him going into turn 3. I'm not sure if there was a tire down or what the case was there. That truck was way off the pace. Great awareness and probably a great job by all the spotters calling everybody clear. Looked like it was the 42. Yeah, it definitely was. Matt Mills. He's now scored 2 laps down. Definitely some problems going on for Mills. Might have pulled the pit road that time as well. A little bit of trash on the grill. The 88 leading. Hopefully he's not having any heating issues. Last thing you need when you're already having some sort of electrical problems throughout the course of the race. Rhodes going to try to sweep the stages. I doubt he's going to just ride in line behind his teammate, though. He'll probably wait until the final lap. It'll be interesting if Johnny Sauter goes with him. Sauter stayed with Rhodes behind him, considering Johnny wasn't running for points through stage 1. But now having 2 teammates to pick with up at the front of the field, it'll be interesting to see which one he takes. Probably going to be the one that's going to get him closer to the front of the field himself. So I'd imagine if Rhodes pulls out, Sauter's going to go with him. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. And if he doesn't, that tells me that Kraft and Sauter have held a really good relationship over all these years with each other. Couple trucks a little further back are starting to pull out of line. Stuart Friesen from 7th. Corey Heim goes with him, as well as Parker Kligerman, who faked low, went back high. Chandler Smith in the 38 also went to the bottom a little bit ahead of Friesen, pulls back into the outside, backs him up a little bit. That could be good for the bottom for the moment. Though they still only have 4 trucks nose to tail as they come to the final lap of stage 2. 2.5 miles to go in the second stage. Top 4 trucks still clear, single file, and now Chandler Smith pulls out a line from the top again. He was in 4th place, riding behind the 3 ThorSport trucks who still lead the way. Off the exit of turn 2, looking to get a shot from the 52. Rhodes took a peek to the inside off the exit of turn 2, stays high. Gets to the back bumper of his teammate, and those ThorSport trucks still stay nose to tail for the time being. Rhodes is going to wait till the very last second, I think, to make this move off turn 4, trying to make sure the trucks down to the bottom have 0 chance of getting a stage win. Chandler Smith is pulled along the inside of Majeski for 3rd. Ben Rhodes pulls out at the last second, but it's too late, and Matt Crafton will win stage 2 in the truck opener at Daytona. Ben Rhodes 2nd, Ty Majeski 3rd, 1, 2, 3 for ThorSport Racing in stage 2. Chandler Smith in 4th. Jack Wood 5th, Stuart Friesen 6th, Daniel Hemrick 7th, Corey Heim 8th, Parker Kligerman 9th, and Roger Carruth will round out the top 10 in position number 10. More green flag action. Ask and you shall receive. That's what we got as stage 2 goes caution free. After stage 1 yielded 3 yellows with the stage end. This is our 4th caution of the day with the stage 2 end. Last guaranteed yellow, but I doubt it'll be the last. 52 minutes on the elapsed time in this race so far. 60 laps to go in tonight's event. Ben Rhodes will score the most stage points of any driver tonight with 19. 2nd in stage 2. 1st in stage 1. Matt Crafton, Ben Rhodes again will get the first 2 playoff points for the truck season. We'll take a quick break. You're listening live on KRC to the Fresh from Florida 250 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Daytona International Speedway. A little more track and Chandler could have had it. Yeah, he definitely didn't get a good enough of a push when he pulled out of line, but those ThorSport trucks are fast. There's a reason why they qualified on the front row like they did. Usually when you have the combination of good single truck speed and good speed in the draft like we've seen out of Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton, and I think that was the toughest thing for Rhodes was obviously pulling out of line a little too late, but team player there. And still got good points for finishing 2nd. He just didn't get the playoff point. He could have pulled out earlier, but that might not have been the best bet for Crafton and Majeski, who were right there with him. I still believe that one of them would have won the stage, but I don't know that they would have finished 1, 2, 3 like they did. So that was very well coordinated there by those teammates. End of the race, I don't know that they'll be that nice. But in the middle of the race for a stage, they obviously showed that they were. Sergeant Bob, thanks for tuning in. Mike Goff, thanks for tuning in as well. Jordan Martinka, thanks for tuning in. He's pulling for Enfinger. Sounds like they're twitchy. Oh, yeah, they're definitely twitchy. Looks like it to me. I mentioned Ben Rhodes had the most with 19. Chandler Smith had the second most with 14 of the Truck Series regulars running for points this season. 12 for Ty Majeski, 10 for Matt Crafton. Corey Heim gets 9 along with Johnny Sauter. 8 for Grant Enfinger. Daniel Hemrick, 7. Some of the most in the ThorSport trucks stay out. Majeski kind of faked his pit stop there. This is not the final stop of the night, but pretty much everybody from fourth on back is in.
There, they decide to stay out for this round, and they'll come in the pit for the next round.
Josh, we're going to take a look at the 11 of Corey Heim. He's going to make his way with Scott Zipadelli that said, "Bring it to me." They're going to take tires as well as fuel, but Corey was very neutral on his truck, said, "I don't really think I have anything wrong with this brand new truck." Regan?
Well, man, Matt Crafton, one of the trucks that stayed out right there as well on this round of pit stops. And just to follow up on that, when the yellow flag came out for the stage break, crew chief Josh Hankish came over the radio and said, "We might get out of this pack for just a little bit and stick to the original plan." So 3 teammates up there, guys, they may have a little bit of a plan we don't know about yet.
Well, Regan, you kept us filled in on his issues tonight, but he was able to come back, won the stage, and we talked about it. 25th.
Wow, 25th season in the Truck Series for Matt Crafton. Not only a lifer, but he's been around for almost every season. Every year since 2000. And he's had that Menard sponsorship the entire time. For several different teams. Most of which, obviously, right here at ThorSport Racing in that 88 truck. Still got the debris on the grill of his race truck. So if he stays out, he probably has to get behind that pace car and try to get the air effect to blow the trash off the grill, I would imagine.
And never got the checker flag here, so didn't.
Sounds like the booth is radioing into Matt Crafton.
How's the handling with the trucks? We've seen several of them get loose. Is yours handling pretty good?
Yeah, Josh, these guys have been, the drivability are really good. I've seen some of them underneath being really loose, so they did a very good job of having speed and the drivability with it, so very happy.
All right, man. Keep it up. Good luck.
Thank you.
And Matt Crafton will lead the field back to green for the third and final stage. Who will get it done? Stay with us.
Headed to commercial again on Fox Sports 1. Because we're at the end of stage 2, we've got the diecast showing to get out, our first one of the 2025 NASCAR season. I'll show off the collection of the 124 scale diecasts I have. And because Kevin Harvick's in the booth tonight, and he's a former Daytona 500 winner, I figured I'd show off my Kevin Harvick 2007 Shell Pennzoil diecast. Of course, the same paint scheme that he won the Daytona 500 in that classic photo finish with Mark Martin. The only career Daytona 500 victory for Kevin Harvick. Nicknamed the closer for a reason. It was the only lap he led that entire race. Definitely one of my favorite paint schemes growing up. I feel like Shell over the years, even though they've had pretty much the same paint scheme through almost the entire run of their existence in the Cup Series, and especially at Penske with what Joey Logano's had for more than the last decade, still cool to see something original like that on the car. Some fans don't like it because it's the same paint scheme year in and year out, but I personally like it because we don't see that with iconic, logos and brands in the sport as much anymore. So glad that Pennzoil stayed around for as long as they have, and even still kind of expanding their partnership with Penske because we've seen them on Ryan Blaney's car more over the last couple of years as well, along with Joey Logano. But this is the Kevin Harvick Shell Pennzoil. Number 29. All right. Four Sport trucks haven't pit at the very front of the field yet. Rhodes and Crafton didn't, at least. But it does look like Majeski did. But he lost all of his track position pitting one lap after the fact. I wonder if he was going to get called to pit road and the crew chief aborted at the last second. It's interesting to pit one lap later for that reason, lose all that track position. Just for one extra lap of gas under caution, nonetheless. It's a bit of a head scratcher because you put yourself back in that hornet's nest again. And although they got to the front cohesively when they were all back there, now it's just him by himself. Although it looks like the other Thor Sport trucks came down a lap after Ty Majeski, because now all of a sudden Matt Crafton isn't at the top of the leaderboard anymore, neither is Ben Rhodes. Now that they're all back there at once, I think this is going to work out a little better for them.
Go head to head.
Let you listen into the broadcast on this next restart.
Takes on Illinois. That's tomorrow night. All right, guys. So before we went to break, Matt Crafton was leading. Right after we went to break, this is what happened. He came down pit road. If you were questioning this call, so let's get more ready. Let's hear from his crew chief.
Jamie just came off of the pit box down here to talk to us for a second. Josh, you were leading, you pitted there. We're scratching our head just a little bit. What is the strategy play right now?
It's a little goofy. We're just trying to get all the ports lined up here, and hopefully they all pit before us, and it'll make some time together when they all pit.
All right, good luck. We'll be watching. Thanks.
Well, he's smiling. He said it's a little goofy. They're trying something.
It is a little goofy.
I hope it works out for them,
Unorthodox.
but I'm always I always hate giving up the track position, and maybe that's just my Sunday mentality of having the track position being so hard. Maybe those trucks they feel like are so fast that they can.
Well, they did it
protect
once.
themselves,
We'll see
but
if they
I
can
felt
do
pretty
it
good about
again.
protecting myself up front.
I also think he held his cards pretty close to his chest on that because he really tell us anything there. He just said it's goofy,
Yeah.
and I agree because I don't know what the heck's going on at the moment.
Well, he said he wanted to line the Fords up, so he's got two teammates around him. We saw the 88 drive from the back to the front one time already. So basically, right now, when we go back green, we'll have 55 laps to go. You guys think that they can go a max of about 35 to 36 laps? Want to take a fuel?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think I'd say, well, yeah, we'll leave the ish in there, and I think the teams kind of know exactly what they can do, and a lot of that's going to depend now on the fuel saving strategy. But that could be the possibility of going into the fuel savings so that you make a shorter stop, because these guys have done a good job so far of racing well, aside from the early caution there. But it's going to get more aggressive.
I'm looking forward to see if they can move up top and try to make that third lane work again. I think it's crazy to think that's going to work twice.
Corey Hunt in the 11, Daniel Hemrick in the 19 on the outside. Green flag in the air once again. William Sawalich in the 1 truck. Number 2 in line on the inside. Grant Enfinger, he's been up front all night long. He's in the 9, pushing Daniel Hemrick on the outside.
And you saw that bottom lane get checked up a little bit. It looked like William got into the back of Corey Hunt there and checked that whole bottom row up as they reorganized on the bottom.
But outside lane, they've got Green McAnally, Hilgerman teammates. And they also have an alliance with the 9, so all working together on the outside. They can't get hooked up quite yet. Maybe here?
Well, you see Grant offset to the right rear of that truck. You can't be centered up on these trucks in the corner, so you have to get offset even on the straightaway a little bit to try to get the best push that you can to help that front truck in front of you stay as straight as possible.
What I saw happen there in the trioval, 3 Fords moved up to the third lane. All one and then another and then another. But look what's happening this time. The competition's ready for it, right? And so now,
Ooh, 4 wide.
Boy, it's Jack Wood on the inside. Brown and black truck.
Hold your line, everybody.
Everybody keeps it straight. Oh, Gio Ruggiero tucks inside on the inside.
We're good. We made it. We made it.
so much going on right there. But what I did notice is the Fords working together again, trying to work their way through the field together at the same time.
And the one Ford that I don't see up there is that 88 truck of Matt Crafton. You see the 38 and the 34 of Chandler Smith and Lane Riggs right there on the outside lane, with the 66 of Johnny Sauter behind them. And then you see the other strategy of Ty Majeski and Matt Crafton at the back of the field.
I saw Tony Breidinger is back out on track, so she's back there with a couple of teammates. Breidinger was one lap down. She had a single truck incident right up the second caution of the evening.
And I really like racing towards the front of the pack. I just think that evolution of saving works out every once in a while, and it could work out tonight. But I think that when you get to the end of these races, and Joey, you're so good at it, and I think that's one reason that you became so good at it, is you always stayed up in the front of the pack to work on exactly what Grant Enfinger is doing right there, so that when you get to the end of these races, you know how to push, you know where your truck is, you know all the things that you need to do with that vehicle to make the right moves happen.
That goes back to what we talked about before the race started. Rookies, make the moves, right? Do something.
Oh!
We got the wrecking back here.
That's the 18. Tyler Ankrum. Caution is out. We do have a truck around right behind him.
Yeah, that was Dawson Sutton.
I think the 18 might have been leaking some fluids, and that's what caused the 26 to spin.
Our fifth caution of the evening.
Not out of gear or anything.
You hear it? Just blew up. Yeah, I wonder if he leaked some oil there, and that's what happened.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I don't think the truck behind him of Sutton got tore up. It looked like he just spun around. And the 18 truck of Ankrum is done.
There's Ankrum, bottom of your screen, and Sutton right behind him. Oh, right there.
Oh, man.
Sutton just got caught up, slipped out the oil on the track.
Yeah, I wonder if he just made a quick move and that kind of got the truck upset, or maybe he got in the oil there.
Yeah, I bet that all that smoke probably got his attention and he kind of overreacted there. Going up the racetrack and just got loose.
He probably didn't see.
Yeah.
Right, when you think about, like, that doesn't look like a lot of smoke, but you see a little bit from Majeski's onboard right there. Is that like just a little bit of smoke when you're that close? It's completely white, and you can't see anything inside the truck.
He's got some damage on the right rear. Might have been where the back of that truck was up on the banking. When he was down on the flat, the back of the truck probably got that banking.
Dawson Sutton, a 19-year-old, one of the Rookie of the Year contenders. We'll step aside. 51 laps to go from Daytona. Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs out front.
This is our fifth caution of the race. 18 lead changes, 16 caution laps, a little over 1 hour of racing. 49 laps complete out of 100, 9 out of 60 in stage number 3. Chandler Smith scored as the race leader at the time of the yellow. His teammate Lane Riggs is in second. Still outside the fuel window to make it to the end. We'll see some trucks probably at the back of the field just pitting to top off, so they're closer to a full tank, so that way when they do end up coming in, they can pit for less fuel on the final stop. We only ran a few green flag laps there at the beginning of stage 3 before that caution came out. Again, an engine detonation for Tyler Ankrum in the 18, and the 26 goes for a bit of a slide just behind him. And again, our fifth caution of the night. Yeah, it's going to be close on how many caution laps we get versus lead changes. It's been tight all night. We're halfway through the race. I do think we're going to get quite a few green flag laps in at some point in stage 3. I just have that feeling that I don't think we'll get green flag pit stops, but I think we can get a 20-plus lap run in here. Get to 20, 30 laps to go before we maybe see another yellow. That's another one of my bold predictions for the night. 4 wide, why not? Got a race to win. It was a little early for that. It wasn't intentional either. Jack Wood kind of got shuffled out of line in no man's land, and they were already 3 wide right in the middle of the pack where they were. They actually got through there pretty cleanly. That's the second time we've seen 4 wide. They were 4 wide in the tri-oval trying to split around Norm Benny when he was going a lap down earlier too. Things got a bit hairy there. About 6 laps to go or so in stage 1, or stage 2, excuse me. We'll take another break while we're waiting for this restart to upcome. You're listening live on KRC to the Fresh from Florida 250. Yeah, there was no fire, Tyler Ankrum. Just white puffy smoke.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. What a night it has been as we reach the halfway point of the first race of the season. Happy to have you joining us here on FS1. I'm Jamie Little, joined by Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Amanda Busick, Josh Sims, and Regan Smith, bringing us all the stories from pit road. 20 cars on the lead lap, 32, and we officially have two trucks out of the race, Caden Honeycutt and Tyler Ankrum, who just brought out the most recent caution. As you see, track cleanup continues.
Tyler left most of his oil from his truck on the racetrack, so it's taken a minute to clean all this up. Luckily, it is out of the groove for the most part.
So much speedy dry, these trucks are gonna think they're racing on the beach again.
That's right.
It's gonna be a little dusty when they fire off here.
So we've got teammates, front row teammates leading right now. The 38-34 expanded to a two-truck operation this year. Chandler Smith in the 38, Lane Riggs in the 34. Let's get to know him.
My name is Lane Riggs. I'm 22 years old. I live in Bahama, North Carolina. My dad got me into racing. He was lucky enough to make a career in NASCAR and the Cup Series. Back when I was younger, got to go to a lot of races. Hopefully in 2025, we get a whole lot more trophies and hopefully a big championship trophy. My rookie year, I learned a whole lot and we got a couple wins. I'm going to take all that I've learned and try to apply it and win every single one we go to. I got a lot of confidence in my team, my people, and I know we can get the job done.
Well, the thing I love about Lane is just how much better he got last year. He obviously comes from a racing family with Scott Riggs and being a part of the Cup Series, but he got a lot better last year, and I look at him as a contender this year.
Well, Lane's pulling it down pit road.
Yes, he is. Talk about last year. He pulled off 2 victories, popped his arm out, his shoulder out of socket.
Oh my
in victory, had surgery in the offseason, and now pit road. Oh, he stalls it.
No, he waited. That's a smart move. He saw the 17 coming in.
Heads up.
Heads up play. That could have been the end of the race for him, right? Or at least a lot of damage to the right front fender and having to lose a lot more track position.
Now, was that a call you think on the radio, Joey, or is he watching his mirror at that point?
Could be both, right?
Oh,
I mean,
both.
I know I look up in the mirror a lot of times in those scenarios. Hopefully his crew chief was looking at the same thing, and was able to make that call. But yeah, going back to Layton, I think he's got a fantastic future in this sport. It's looking at what he did at the end of last year, but I also like him as a person off the racetrack. Seems like the type of person who's a go-getter, well-spoken, professional. I look for him to be around for a long time. Probably learned a lot from his dad.
Yeah, and you see the improvement last year from the first 14 to the last 9.
You
And
got the frown on the left side. Smile.
that's what the great job, from graphics guys. But funny story, Lane, after he got out of that truck and threw his shoulder out of socket, we got to the legend car track the next week, and Keelan stood up on top of this legend car and fell off the legend car. Didn't fall off, but got up there and threw his arm up like his arm was out of socket. He's like, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, it was just so funny what Lane did, so I thought it would be funny for me to stand up on the legend car and act like my shoulder was thrown out of socket.
Really was. Oh, let's take a look.
Oh,
Exactly what we're talking about. Yes, I finally won.
Poor Lane.
wait until the full embarrassing part. Here we go.
Oh, man.
Does a little dance. They pop it back in right there.
This is the best part. After they pop it back in, I'm good. I'm good, guys. Yeah.
And he had to do it again because he won the next race.
He had surgery on that since then.
Yes, he did. Josh.
Talked to Lane earlier about that shoulder. He said he actually dislocated it 10 times during his life.
Oh
So
my
it just kept getting
gosh.
more frequent. So after he celebrated that victory, he's like, yeah, we need to do something about that. So the Tuesday after the final race of the season, he got that surgery. Said not fully 100%. Obviously, he can drive the truck. He still doesn't know if he'll have full motion raising his right arm all the way up. But of course, it's good enough to drive right now.
Yeah, I had that surgery. And then for the NASCAR awards, just a couple weeks later, he had to walk up on stage. He was in a sling and he picked up his Rookie of the Year honors. All right, we'll step aside when we come back. We will continue the third and final stage from Daytona.
I can't believe they said he's dislocated his shoulder 10 times over his life. Oh my gosh. I wonder why it took 10 times before he finally had surgery on it. Wouldn't you think, like, after the 6th or 7th time, it's like, oh, you know what, we should probably get this fixed. Or, like, you know, the 3rd or 4th time. And it just keeps popping out. I wonder why the 10th time was the final straw. Probably because he's racing professional level right now. That's probably why they decided to do it at that time. Still interesting to me he didn't pull the trigger on that sooner. His family's got the funding, so I would imagine that can't be the reason. Sure, his dad Scott made some good money in his time in the Cup Series. We'll go through the full leaderboard here before this next restart. Chandler Smith leads. Daniel Hemrick is scored in second. Grant Enfinger third. Johnny Sauter is in fourth. Parker Kligerman fifth. Justin Haley sixth. Jack Wood seventh. Ty Majeski eighth. Jake Garcia ninth. Norm Benning rounds out the top 10. How about that? Mason Maggio is in 11th. Lane Riggs, who we just talked about, is 12th. Matt Crafton is 13th. Our leaderboard's moving around a ton here. I might have to go back through this again. Moved around a lot. I think we had some cars hit pit road here as they might be getting the one to go signal. Okay, so let's go through that again. Chandler Smith leads. Daniel Hemrick second. Grant Enfinger is third. Parker Kligerman fourth. Justin Haley fifth. Jack Wood sixth. Norm Benning seventh. Timmy Hill eighth. William Sawalich ninth. Jake Garcia 10th. Stuart Friesen 11th. Raja Carew 12th. Michael McDowell 13th. Tanner Gray 14th. Corey Heim 15th. 16th for Bailey Curry. Andres Perez 17th. Jason White 18th. Frankie Muniz 19th. And Tony Breidinger is back in 20th. Nathan Bird 21st. Giovanni Ruggiero 22nd. 23rd. Matt Crafton. Josh Reum 24th. Ty Majeski 25th. Mason Maggio 26th. Lane Riggs 27th. Blake Greenfield 28th. Ben Rhodes 29th. Dawson Sutton 30th. Spencer Boyd 31st. Johnny Sauter 32nd. Matt Mills 33rd. Tyler Ankrum now out of the race after the engine failure 34th. That's the reason for the current caution we're on right now, the lengthy cleanup for all of the fluids left on the bottom groove of the racetrack. Connor Mosack 35th and then Caden Honeycutt 36th, both out of the race as well. Mosack had a mechanical issue during green flag conditions 21 laps ago, and Honeycutt crashed out 50 laps ago in the early laps of stage 1.
This was it during the dual race. See the 66 right there trying to race his way and bam! Night ends, does not qualify for the Daytona 500. I waited 30 minutes for him to come out of that infield care center. Had to have x-rays, said he's sore basically head to toe today. And look, put it aside, do what you racers do, put that helmet on. Now he's looking to win this race too.
Well, if you're going to race, you're going to wreck, and I think that the thing that he'll probably go home and do now that he wrecked that cup car like that is go home and work on his safety system. That's usually what happens when you take a hit like that the first time. You're like, all right, all those things that they've been telling me about getting everything right, I need to really concentrate on because that hurt, and you could see how bad it hurt after he hit the fence.
100%. Just like when you break down your car setup, safety setup is all about, and ultimately keep yourself healthy longer, or be able to recover quicker in those type of scenarios.
That'll be 54 laps to go.
Gas game is real. We saw a lot of these guys come back to pit lane that last time by and top off.
Yeah, a lot of laps of caution there.
Those trucks shut off. So we're getting to the point where there's some gambling that might not be in that window yet, but it's getting closer to starting to happen.
They're like keeping their options open a little bit by topping off.
Pit stops shorter.
Will actually be 45 laps to go. It's getting by, guys. Less than half the race to go. Chandler Smith in the 38, Daniel Hemrick in the 19, Parker Kligerman. 2 wins at Talladega. Loves this style of racing in the 75 truck on the outside.
See those first 4 trucks attached. Both lanes.
The bottom lane is almost non-existent. Besides, there's 3, maybe 4 trucks.
That's Timmy Hill, the 56 truck, third in line on the bottom. Haven't talked about him tonight. He just lost those dancing partners, falling back to William Sawalich.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. You see the 19 and the 9 hooked up there down the back straightaway. That's how much faster 2 trucks are when they're able to hook bumpers and stay close to each other like that. It drove away from the 3rd car in that lane. So both of them did. Hemrick's not done yet. He's still trying to make the move back up there.
How about Daniel Hemrick? Started his career in NASCAR in the Truck Series, went Cup racing, went to Xfinity, won a championship, went back Cup racing, and this year full-time in the Truck Series. And he told me, he said, honestly, you walk in, it's a little humbling. He said, but I'm in a truck that I know I'm capable of winning each race, and I have a chance to win a championship this year, and that's what it's all about for him.
Absolutely. You know that truck's fast. It was really fast last year as he makes the move underneath Smith right now.
Justin Haley for Spire Motorsports in the 7 truck, third in line on the outside.
You saw that 19 truck about a half a lane off the bottom right there. I think that's just one of those scenarios, Joey, where he just doesn't want to tug on the wheel.
Yeah, for sure. And he saw the top lane kind of roll down that first straightaway.
Yeah,
because of that.
check that whole bottom lane up. And really, with these trucks, you've seen that outside lane be able to get formed on all the restarts and go a lot better.
That is big truck, that red truck on the inside. Tony Breidinger, she probably fix it up, and here she is in the hunt.
That's a pretty good hit to the left side of that truck, too. So, team's done a good job making repairs, it looks like. And she's done a good job at bringing it back to the field.
And she's racing full-time, great equipment for Tricon Garage.
You see Chandler Smith right there, right on the right side of Daniel Hemrick. I wanted to say Christian Eckes there for a second. Daniel Hemrick, and what that's doing is that's the side draft. That just dumps all the air off the front of your truck onto that spoiler of the truck below you. So, or above you, and you see that hatch on the tailgates on the bed top there, straight up in the air on the Hemrick truck. Did it twice.
You mentioned Christian Eckes, great season with that team. He was actually with them the last couple of years, but he has now graduated, moved up to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They'll be racing tomorrow.
You see Chandler Smith, I feel like he's been the most aggressive up front with the side draft and the blocks and everything that's happening. And for him, it's going to be busier because with the Fords that we saw up there before, we saw those ThorSport trucks lined up with a plan. Now Chandler Smith is going to have to defend himself with the 19 truck and the 75 truck up on the outside because they want to lead. They don't care what manufacturer he's driving. They want to be up there.
You see Grant Enfinger jumped up there in front of her. See that lane? I think you sometimes listen to your spotter and say, okay, who's the numbers in that lane, right? Who's the drivers up there, the cars that are up there? Do I think it's going to move because of who that is? When you look at that top lane and you hear Parker Kligerman, Justin Haley, the first 2 trucks, and I feel like that lane's got a good chance of moving forward for those reasons. Grant probably heard that and said, sure, I'll jump up there. Right. And then a tight squeeze of
you see that 19 truck, I'm telling you, he can't pull down on the wheel, and he had to let that truck go up the hill right there.
And maybe moving up makes it a little better for him.
So this is Chandler Smith defending his position as the leader. Look at his eyes.
Yeah, and you see from this Ford Performance camera that you see Chandler Smith able to look to this left side mirror and keep glancing up to his mirror in the middle of the truck. They don't have the electronic mirror like the Cup cars. So his mirror, he keeps having to turn his head and look to see where it's going. And you spend more time looking backwards than you do looking forward in these situations.
Yeah, when you're the leader, you're looking in the mirror the whole time, right? You kind of follow. I mean, honestly, never look at the front windshield. You just kind of follow wherever that car behind you goes.
Daniel Hemrick trying to find a way around. Look at Grant Enfinger closing the gap right there. Moves up right behind Chandler Smith. Love hearing the spotter chatter.
Got one up again. Yeah. Editing. Clear. I didn't. You know, right now, one up. I'll put it there.
That's Ryan Blanchard, his spotter for Chandler Smith, the leader.
And the spotter plays such a big role. You got to paint the picture for the driver and where the runs are coming from so you get there in time. You can't react too late because you'll just miss it, right? You got to know how it's building, where you're about to go. If you're prepared for that stuff, the moves aren't that sketchy. Well, when it's like last second, hey, move up top, move down low, like it happens too late, it's too slow, and that's where you get in trouble.
And that's why I don't like racing in the back. Right? I think when you're racing in the front, you are able to do all the things that Chandler is doing right now of changing lanes, and that spotter is actively getting better and better, and that communication gets smoother and smoother, and the trust level just keeps going up from the driver's compartment. And then all of a sudden you're able to call those things a little bit tighter, be comfortable with those calls being a little bit tighter.
Guys, we haven't talked about Ben Rhodes in a while. One stage number one.
And I think those guys have purposely did what they did with the pit strategy and everything that they had and been ultra conservative. We've seen them be able to drive back to the front when they want to.
Well, you mentioned that. Let's listen to Ty Majeski's radio.
So interesting there when you hear that when they start peeling off. So they're thinking that this is going to run green long enough. This is their bet, at least, that it's going to run green long enough to where the leaders have to pit under green. They're going to all get all the Fords together, I think is what they're thinking, and try to make as much speed as possible and draft off of those trucks when they get back on the racetrack to make as much time as possible.
They're
Interesting play.
They're definitely thinking that they're going to make better time by waiting and pushing each other as those guys peel off. So we'll see what happens.
36 laps to go in the Fresh from Florida 250 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on FS1, and obviously right here on KRC with our full flag-to-flag coverage of this weekend's race. Chandler Smith is scored as the race leader, 17 laps led for him, 19 for Ben Rhodes, so Chandler Smith starting to catch up for the most laps led. Ben Rhodes is in second. Michael McDowell is quietly in the third place position. Haven't really seen him up towards the front of the field much today, but he's up there now. Lane Riggs is fourth. Johnny Sauter fifth. Jake Garcia is in sixth. Seventh is Timmy Hill, having a good race so far. William Sawalich in eighth. Tanner Gray ninth. Tony Breidinger has regained ground, and she is now rounding out the top 10. Corey Hyman 11th. Stuart Friesen in 12th. Giovanni Ruggiero 13th. Matt Craft in 14th. 15th, Tanner Gray. It looks like we have a couple cars hitting pit road because we had a big movement in the leaderboard there. We'll go back through the running order when everything cycles through. I'm assuming we have pit stops because Breidinger was just in 10th. Yep, here we go. We got pit stops.
Place multiple trucks came in. It was chaos for a moment.
A little bit of damage on the back of Enfigur's truck. Who hit him?
Sideways coming to pit road, saved it, but he was hot coming in. I don't know if he was speeding.
Yeah, he's going to be coming back in. That looked like a pretty blatant speeding penalty right there, but we'll see. Yes, he's Grant Enfinger has a speeding penalty and have to make a drive-through.
So that was all the Chevys. They all came in at the same time. Now you got the Ford still out there. So you have another group. Looks like the Toyotas, they're all pitting together now. But what's going to happen is the Fords are going to be able to run longer because they kept repitting under caution every chance they can.
Getting under green, that's where you see the mistakes happen. One penalty so far. Grant Enfinger, as we mentioned, too fast entering.
And these guys in the Fords are banking on their trucks being lined up and being able to run faster than all these trucks that have been a little bit disorganized getting to pit road. We've seen Grant Enfinger have a penalty, and this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now they need to get connected as good as possible to be able to not do that. They need to stay in line and get connected and go and make as much time as possible.
So what they're trying to do right now is they're going to try to, I call it sniff the draft off the trucks that just pulled off. Right? So they're up to speed. They're going as fast as they can. They're going to try to catch those single trucks that fall off the back of the other packs. So they didn't have a good pit stop. And they're going to catch that draft and make their whole pack run faster. And they're going to try to make time. Their bet is that they can run faster and catch the Chevy group, the Toyota group in front of them as just a group of Fords. This will be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, no, the thing that I really like about this truck race right now, I know it looks scattered. These guys and gals are here to learn. They're here to understand how to race, and being able to make a green flag pit stop and have to do all this strategy and adapt to it is really, really good experience for all these guys. I like to see it.
Well, I mentioned mistakes. A couple of the Toyotas busted for speeding on pit road as well. Stuart Friesen in the 52, Tony Reininger in the 5.
And there's no speedometer in these trucks. This is all done by RPM, and I think it's even harder in the truck series and in the Xfinity series because you do it off the lights on your tack. It's not quite as easy to do as it is in the Cup car, but you want to push that as much as possible. You got to remember these guys didn't get any practice throughout the day, so they didn't get to run up and down pit road and really get that dialed in on their pit road speed.
But this explains why they gave up the lead earlier in the race to get all the Fords together. He said, we're going to get the Fords together and do some goofy strategy. Here's the goofy strategy. Now, here's where I'm talking about where they're going to make speed. See how they're catching Parker Kligerman in front of them. And here's a caution. This is
that was a big hit,
I was
man.
just going to say their plan worked out until now. Greenfield hardened to the inside wall. That'll bring out our 6th caution of the night.
All the trucks that pitted already are gonna cycle to the front.
And this is the risk for the Fords. They were trying to make time and get ahead so much, and after they make their green flag pit stop, they're battling it out just between themselves. But if the caution comes out like it just did, now they have to pit. All the other trucks have already pitted and are still on the lead lap. They're in trouble.
Here's what happened to Clay
He
Greenfield.
was all by himself, got loose off 4.
Four again, and
Third
it's-
time tonight.
Yeah, and the way that those trucks and all the cars go over that section in the corner, we've talked about it all night. They just get free right there, and sometimes they get tight. You wind up with wheel, but then it snaps. So that loose condition has definitely popped up several times tonight.
I think it's just getting worse and worse over the years. I don't remember it being this bad in the truck series. It seems like just over time, track loses grip. How aggressive you want to be. We talked about that too, Kevin, about downforce versus drag. You want your truck to go fast on the straightaways, but you've got to have some handling, especially late in the run as your tires wear out like we had right there.
And it's easy to talk yourself into taking drag out of the truck. Well, I think we did this and we did that. Take a little grip out. I think it'll be okay. I think last year, we were fine. And then you get to the racetrack, you're like, oh my God, I can't drive this thing. It is out of control.
Yeah, you got to make the setup better. You got to do all these other things. We're going to find mechanical grip by doing this, and that. But
Can't beat grip, Joey.
it's hard to beat grip, especially later on.
Can't beat grip from that down.
Joey, what's the difference in the Cup car coming off turn 4? In that same situation, how does that compare?
I mean, there's a lot of similarities. I think one of the things that's really different with the trucks to the Cup cars is the side force piece. Right, when the trucks are side by side, that inside truck is going to get freer. Whereas the Cup cars now, you can be side by side, and it doesn't make the bottom car loose anymore. Just the way the cars are built, the bodies are a lot different. We don't rely on the side force in the Cup series as much.
Yeah, and I think that as we see all of these incidents that we've had off of turn 4, there's just several scenarios right here. It started right off the bat with the 45 truck, and you see him just get a little bit loose and check that line up and get some contact from the back. Same thing here with the 5. Turn 4 has just been really, really tough for these trucks to stay gripping. And Greenfield here almost followed the tire marks all the way to the wall. So very common problem, and we've seen that with trucks on the outside behind them. And that truck of Clay Greenfield we saw with nobody even around him just spun out.
You said it. Those tire marks tell the story.
That's right.
Absolutely. So pit road is closed right now. 30 laps to go from Daytona as we're under caution for the 6th time for that big incident right there by Clay Greenfield.
That impact for Clay Greenfield looked a lot more violent than the first impact that we saw in a similarly styled crash with the 45 of Caden Honeycutt at the beginning of the race. Just seemed like maybe Greenfield couldn't get his car just slowed up as quickly as what Honeycutt did, but both of them out because of head-on hits into that inside. Kind of pancaked the wall, but not too hard, and she actually rallied to get back up in the top 10 right before she ended up making her green flag pit stop. in doing so lost some time, but with this caution coming out, she's actually going to cycle closer to the front of the field compared to those of the trucks that did not pit yet, because they're all going to have to pit under the caution flag, and they're going to give up all that track position that they currently have and that they were trying to make up on the pit strategy by running longer. Most of them are the Fords at both Front Row Motorsports and Thor Sport Racing that were on that strategy. They could, with their faster trucks with clean traffic, but everything's definitely going to be bunched back together again here shortly. Greenfield was actually a lap down right behind the Thor Sport trucks at the front of the field, too. So definitely had an ill-handling truck to be running that far back in the race running order. And obviously it came to fruition there in front of us all on the TV cameras. Pit road should be open this time by. We're going to have a little less than 30 laps to go, which means it's only going to be pandemonium from here when they get back racing.
Things sold out. The infield, all the camping, grandstands will be sold out on Sunday. Looking forward to the Daytona 500.
Here we go. Here comes all the Fords that's had the pit still.
Love that shot overhead. Wipe the grill, make sure you get off any debris.
Well,
99 taking tires.
yeah, we see the 99 taking tires, and then we have a truck come around him that's going to make it difficult for him to get out of his pit stall.
I believe that's Timmy Hill that pitted right in front of him. They're making some chassis adjustments. Others fuel only.
There's
Yeah.
He lost most of his track position anyways when he put 4 tires on. Most trucks did maybe 2 were fuel only, most likely, so did lose a whole bunch there.
Big
I think
right down. Michael McDowell.
All right. Yeah, we're probably going to have 20, I'm going to guess 26 to go, maybe 25, 26 laps to go and we get back to racing. Only a quarter of the race remains. Still more caution laps than lead changes. I don't know, guys. I think the caution laps is going to win our race within the race. I thought the lead changes would catch up because of a longer green flag run, but they were mostly single file that last green flag run leading up to the green flag pit stops. They were side by side for a little bit, but obviously no lead changes going on. Chandler Smith had logged in quite a few laps led out in front of the field at that point. Got asked exactly where, let's see here. The 38 is at. After pitting, must have skipped him. Oh, our leaderboard hasn't even cycled all the way through yet. It updates when they get to the start-finish line at the end of every lap. It's showing him in 11th, but he just pitted. So it might have scored him while he was on pit road the last time by. It didn't look like that many trucks came down into the pits, but maybe they did. Definitely within the fuel window to make it to the end from here. Even with a couple overtimes at this point for anybody that decides to top off during the caution. 32 to 35 green flag laps is the estimated fuel window. And we'll have about 25 or 26 laps left in the race to the end, and I doubt that all of them are going to be green. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll take a quick ad break before we get into this next restart. Again, you're listening live to the Fresh from Florida 250 on KRC. We've got a good one for you here tonight. Josh Reaume's going to be leading on this restart, it appears. Unless he bails out before the restart. His average running position, 27.15 in this race, but he's going to be out in front late, which is going to be interesting to know what his truck is going to handle like with a push on this restart. A lot of Toyotas around him too, with all the Fords on that strategy of trying to run long during that last green flag cycle. Caught the ill-timing caution. Most of his Ford counterparts are now well outside the top 10. Yeah, still showing Chandler Smith in 11th. They're not as far back in the field as I thought they were going to be, outside of Ben Rhodes, who was stuck behind Timmy Hill the way Timmy had angled into his pit box. He also took tires also, so lost more time there compared to everybody else of those that would have taken fuel only. Yeah, things are definitely going to get hairy. Don't let it end under caution, please. I'm hoping we have a green flag finish too. Most race car fans, I would think, are and racing fans would want a race to end under green at all costs. Definitely don't want to see what we saw in the dual race last night. That sucked, having a caution 100 feet or less from the start-finish line. Never like it when it gets spammed that close to the checkered flag. They'll be going green with 25 to go this time by, as expected. And we've got rookie Giovanni Ruggiero out in front of the field. Our leaderboard had Josh Reaume leading under the caution at one point, but for some reason he is fallen back. I believe he pitted towards the tail end of that restart, so he did bail. I wondered if he was going to, considering how far in the back of the pack he was. Probably on the strategy of just riding out behind everybody else and surviving the late carnage because of it. Trying to get a good finish that way. So here we go. Pace truck will be pulling to pit road. Again, 25 laps to go in the restart. It's going to be Taylor Gray. Or sorry, not Taylor Gray. Ruggiero in the 17 this punch. And a great push from his teammate Tanner Gray in the 15 truck. All three make that 4. Tricon garage trucks are in the outside lane on the restart. And you got a couple of the Spire Motorsports Chevys down on the bottom. And it's the young guns at Spire Motorsports today, the truck regulars of Raja Caruth and Andres Perez. Thor Sport trying to already work themselves to the outside. All 4 of them in a single file line. Crafton, Majeski, Rhodes, and Groove. He's going to pick up a ton of positions. Huge head of steam. And what a great move by Ben Rhodes. Already cutting to the top dozen of the field. He was following the front row trucks through the middle before they went to the outside. And now still trapped 3 wide middles to 99. 17 of Ruggiero, the rookie, leads the first lap following the restart, and we are 3 by 3 from second on back. A near block causing a wreck into turn 1 for Tanner Gray as he pinched off the 71 of Raja Caruth. Caruth hangs on, kept it just above that double yellow line, and now in the middle of the back straightaway gets the push from his teammate. Perez might push the 71 to the lead. And again gets squeezed by the 15 as they get into the corner. That's 2 corners in a row now. Tanner Gray has not given Caruth a lot of room. Slows both lanes down quite a bit. The outside prevailed through the center 3 and 4 as a result. Hand out the window, Chandler Smith, saying thank you, Lane Riggs, for giving that massive push and getting to the lead. Smith back out in front, and he has been very aggressive all night. I'd probably argue one of the more aggressive drivers in this race. Making some bold blocks again on the front stretch entering turn 1. Finds himself back in front of his teammate. He had a big gap on the rest of the pack there in the middle of the front stretch, but as he got closed in there at the end of the front stretch, he still holds on with the blocks made in a timely fashion. Yesterday, and he's still making some aggressive blocks here tonight. Things are getting really wadded up in that middle groove as they're still mostly 3 wide from about 4th on back. Tricon Garage at the front of the field, the 17 to 15 versus the two front row Motorsport Fords in the 38 to 34. Last lap was led by Ruggiero at the line. 22 laps to go in the race. Taking point to the outside again is the 38. Middle of the back straightaway, that inside line goes up to try to side draft the outside lane, slowing them down a bit from third on back. While the front row Motorsport trucks were able to pull clear, and now it's 1-2 at the front of the field between the both of them. So not only Chandler Smith is clear, but the second place truck of Lane Riggs is clear of the Tricon Garage trucks who are still down. All four of them have been in line since the restart. 17, 15, 11, and 1. They were on the top, so they migrated down to the bottom pretty quickly. The one is now left behind in the middle lane. Parker Kligerman was down on the bottom. Parker finds a hole in the outside, goes from the double yellow line to the wall in the middle of 1 and 2. He's a 6th truck in line. Scratch that 7th truck in line on the top lane of the racetrack. Matt Craftsman quietly has rallied up the fits since the race start. He's the highest running of the Thor Sport trucks, and he's got his teammate Johnny Sauter right behind him. Remember, Craftsman was the Stage 2 winner at the time. 20 laps to go this time by. We're headed home.
To be the next in line.
As the leader crosses the line, we've reached our Craftsman, 20 to go.
You see a lot of discipline still in that top lane. You know, they're trying to stay up top there to control the Fords. Doing that, the couple Toyotas there on the bottom, working that shorter distance on the bottom. It's way below the double yellow here.
Yeah.
Riggs didn't give him any room, and he about got knocked out of line.
For wide at Daytona, Gio.
Ah!
Looked to me like he got kind of forced down there.
Oh, yeah, he definitely got forced. We're 4.
Brackets, we're going to go 4 wide.
We're still 4. For turn 4.
Heck of a job for these drivers. That's unreal.
I thought they're going to wreck up before there.
There with them, Lane Riggs, Tanner Gray, Gio Ruggiero teammates behind them.
Now we've seen now the teammates of 38, 34. They moved down the racetrack. They tried to make the top work, but it's hard to beat that shorter distance in the corners.
19 laps to go at Daytona. Chandler Smith continues to lead. We're going to step aside, but you won't miss a thing.
With 19 laps to go, Chandler Smith has led the most laps in today's race and currently leads late. 28 laps led for him. Second place is Lane Riggs, his teammate, still sitting behind him with no laps led in the race for himself, despite running towards the front of the field for a lot of it. Tanner Gray is currently sitting in third. Giovanni Ruggiero having a great run as a rookie in fourth. Jake Garcia fifth. Daniel Hemrick sixth. William Sawalich seventh. Corey Heim eighth. Andres Perez ninth. Daniel Hemrick is 10th. Bailey Curry 11th, Justin Haley 12th, 13th for Johnny Sauter, Ben Rhodes 14th, Ty Majeski 15th, Norm Benning 16th, Timmy Hill 17th, Dawson Sutt 18th, Tony Breidinger 19th, and we got trouble back straightaway. Multiple trucks are around. The 71 takes a beeline for the inside wall. He's going to hit hard head on as well. And the big one is out at Daytona, right in the middle of the commercial break. Matt Crafton's in it with quite a bit of damage to his truck. Michael McDowell, one of the Cup drivers in the field today. Severe damage for him. The 88's pancaked on the right side. Jack Wood has quite a bit of damage coming out of the back of his truck. I didn't see how it started, but I saw the middle of it onward as we were going through our full leaderboard. And that will have to wait as we are under caution for the 7th time, here tonight. With 17 laps left. The big one has stricken in the Craftsman Truck Series season opener. There were some heavy hitters that were running in the back half of the top 10, like Crafton, who was 5th when they went to commercial. Right in the middle of it. Big hit for Raja Caruth. Window net is down. Couple big hits up towards the outside wall before a couple of them went spinning down to the bottom of the track. Man, oh man.
more. Welcome to a whole new season of NASCAR.
Caution is out for the 7th time at Daytona. You saw it in side by side, multiple trucks involved. Looked like it all started with Jack Wood. He got into the outside wall, and it was truck after truck, a lot of damage. You see it right there. Huge hit, though, for Raja.
Oh, man. Bridinger's got a lot of damage.
Involved in her second incident. Matt Crafton. It was a good night going until this moment.
Well, Crafton actually fell back quite a bit. He wasn't in 5th anymore when he was involved.
You see that. Well, we're trying to see where exactly this all started right here.
91 and the 99. Yep.
Yeah. What you see there, Joseph?
Trouble. I think there's a checkup early ahead of them when the 11. Let's watch that back one more time. Yeah, it's already kind of started there. Back to that aerial view, the 11 gets to the outside of the truck that was in front of him, and he didn't mean to. And I think he lifted here, right here. The 19 and the 11, right here. I think they see how he gets up next to him. It doesn't mean to. It kind of checks up everything back here, and then it kind of pushes the 91 a little bit sideways to where Ben Rhodes gets to his outside a little bit and gets the timing off and just clips him in the corner of his bumper, and that just sets off a chain reaction of just trucks get destroyed.
Yeah, and the further that you get back, when those trucks check up in the front of that line right there, and then all of a sudden the trucks that are 2 or 3 behind you don't see anything happening, and they keep shoving you, and you're trying to let off, and you get into the outside like we saw Ben Rhodes do into the right rear quarter panel there, and it just sets this wreck off.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think. I mean, you're all over the truck in front of you. All you see is rear spoiler. So when that truck checks up, there's no time for you to really, adapt or adjust to that, and then you just run into it.
And you saw the flames come out of the pipes of the 99 truck in that shot right there.
That was a big hit by Michael McDowell in the 07. Head on. There's the 71. Look at Raja Caruth.
That's the worst slide. That's the worst feeling, I think, in motorsports. So this is the longest slide, knowing an impact is coming your way. I just hope it doesn't hurt that bad. That's a pretty good hit there.
Just destroyed the truck front to back. Wow. On board the Ford Performance, on board Klimajeski.
And that's what I'm talking about right there. Like, you didn't hear a lot of throttle lift, and he was being shoved from behind. And Ben Rhodes was the one seeing all the action. Those guys, at this point in the race, it's just push until something happens. And unfortunately for all of them, the something that was happening was 2 trucks in front of them, and they kind of pushed Ben into the checkup.
8 trucks involved. The 7th caution of the night.
You think about how fast your reaction times have to be, right? If you're right on that truck in front of you, and they lift, you have to be ready to go to the brakes that quick, and you're not ready for it, right? You think you're gonna be wide open, you're aggressive, you're gonna push down the straightaway, we're gonna move our lane, and then everything gets a little bit wonky in front of you, and you gotta lift. It's gonna set off the chain reaction. That's why down the highway you're supposed to leave a big gap to the car in front of you, right? It's because it gives you time for that. But in racing, you can't. And this is what happens.
That's Michael McDowell. So 15 laps to go from this point. Full race recap of what we've seen. Kate McHenry
We've seen a lot.
brings out the first caution of the night. That's off turn 4. We talked about. Again, that slide straight into the wall. His night is done.
Yeah, we have definitely put plenty of tire marks there with trucks spinning out off of turn 4. And here's another one with Tony Breidinger right next to those old, and she got old tire marks, and she got away with that first one right there.
She was able to continue after that. She was involved in this last round. Ben Rhodes picks up his first stage win since 2023. And Matt Crafton, the night he's had troubles, they had to swap things on pit road. He drives from the back to the front, picks up stage win, stage number 2. Then Tyler Ankrum brings out the caution after cruising an engine. Clay Greenfield, the third.
This was probably the biggest hit of the night for the 95.
And that was the caution that really changed the strategy up quite a bit. And then here we have the final crash. I guess you can call it the big one. Quite a few cars tore up, or trucks torn up in this one.
Yeah, two of those trucks, as we see, 71 truck hit the wall really hard right there and mangled both ends of that truck. But, you know, the 88 and the 99 back in the middle of that pack got torn up in that accident. Two of the trucks that we thought were the fastest, some of the fastest trucks.
And this is where you're kind of in a tough spot. Like, if you're like 15, you got 14 to go right now. You're going to say we're going to go green, maybe 12 to go, something like that. You're in the middle of the hornet's nest. There's a really high likelihood of crashing at that point. Right? You're in the middle. You're not as far forward as you want to be, but you don't want to ride in the back because then you have no chance of winning. But you're just in the wrong spot. That's why this whole point up to this point of the race, you were trying to position yourself to be ahead of that spot. Those guys that are 15th are in a scary place.
Well, step aside. Chandler Smith can hang on and take the win at Daytona.
And Doug. All right. As far as the drivers listed involved in the incident, I'm trying to get it up on my phone. My phone's acting up weird. I literally just took a snapshot of the list of names involved in the crash. So lap 83 was when this incident transpired. Nathan Berg, Michael McDowell, Tony Breidinger, Raja Caruth, Matt Kraft, and Jack Wood, Ty Majeski, and Ben Rhodes were all collected in the incident. So that's 8 drivers on the list. Same amount of cars that we ended up having in that bigger of the couple crashes we saw yesterday in the Cup Series duel number 1 as well, which also took place in the middle of the back straightaway, which is pretty much about where, well, no, I guess that was in the middle of 1 and 2. The 8-car crash was. But only 3 of them DNF from it. I think we're going to have more trucks knocked out of the race following that crash. There were several hard impacts and quite significant damage. Matt Mills was not in the crash, but he is 5 laps down. Nathan Bird is definitely out. Same for Raja Caruth. Considering that they're both 5 laps down, that tells me that they were on the wreckers and didn't even drive back to the pits. Craftsman is a couple laps off the lead lap. Same for Michael McDowell. We'll see if they can continue on. Breidinger somehow is on the lead lap still, but the nose of that race truck was crinkled. So maybe she'll be able to continue, but definitely going to be well off the pace. I doubt aerodynamically that truck's going to draft well. But surprised that she was able to keep it on the lead lap. Stuart Friesen fell off the lead lap. Same for Jack Wood, who was caught up in the crash. And Ben Rhodes, honestly, of those that were listed involved in the incident, he got banged around a little bit, but he kept the truck straight. Might have to pull out some fenders, and that might be it. I don't think he's really got much damage. Been mired back in traffic this entire Stage 3. That strategy for ThorSport Racing, it does not seem like it has worked whatsoever for him. I'm so shocked that they gave up track position at the end of Stage 2. Just to get a couple extra laps of fuel because of the caution. And you go from running 1, 2, 3 at the end of the second stage to none of them have led in this entire final stage so far. Outside of the green flag laps we had before the caution, which kind of set up that last long green flag run that we had before this yellow. 12 laps to go on the restart.
What do you think, Joey?
Well, he's the lead car at the moment of the two, right? So it's tough racing with teammates, right? You need their help, but everybody wants to win. It becomes a challenging relationship.
Chandler Smith, Tanner Gray on the front row. Those are the teammates. He was talking about Lane Riggs just behind him in the 3. Let's not do anything to mess up each other's night. Let's wait till we're coming off the tri-oval, going for the checkered flag.
Well, they didn't have a good restart there. And
Nope.
bottom lane's going to get almost
Not
three
in
trucks
control
clear.
at the moment.
3 trucks clear. Oh, you see a wiggle there in the front there. Tanner Gray got a bad push.
Look at Gio Ruggiero back to the lead.
4 wide again.
3 teammates in row.
This is where the most shuffle.
Back in the pack at least.
Throw 2 wide, 3 wide's an option. So you see a lot of trucks willing to, trying to make big moves, get the lead of that line. And there you see those 2 trucks again. Those teammates, they are stuck together.
But they just, 2 of their teammates are in the middle now. There's 4 of them trying to get together.
Yeah, you saw Corey Heim go to the middle lane to get behind Tanner Gray. Now you see Gio move to that middle lane to pick up those Toyotas in the middle lanes, and that's going to leave Spallage in that Toyota left out. Gio's job now is to block 3 lanes.
Look at the damage here.
I was going to say, there's some nose damage on the 38.
Chandler Smith, he pushed. I forgot who he hit down the back straightaway there, but he ran into him so hard it really knocked the nose in of that truck. Now when there's big, all the air on the front of it, it's not as aerodynamic. There's a lot of more drag that it may have just added to the front of that truck.
Guys, I'm so impressed with Gio Ruggiero, the leader right now. His Truck Series debut, and he's out there driving
Jeez.
like he's been doing it for years.
Yeah, this kid has raced a ton of stuff.
Ooh, Tori!
What?
What a save. Oh my gosh.
He was completely sideways.
Yes, he was.
Amazing save.
Kid's got talent.
11, he gets behind his teammate, Tanner Gray.
Corey's still sideways
Tona,
on the straightaway. That truck is not handling well.
Joey, what are you thinking? Kevin, what are you thinking? 10 laps to go.
Well, I want to be as far forward in a 3 wide mess as I can be. Gio right there blocking the top lane. He's got a teammate behind him. I think that is a good sign. He's got 2 teammates behind him. So I think that those guys have control for the moment. And as this becomes more single file and you see that bottom lane drop off, you're going to see those Fords do exactly what they just did. They don't want to be where they are. They know that they have fast trucks and they need to get themselves positioned back at the front of the pack. So it's going to be a battle to position yourself at the
I don't
front
think
of
the
pack.
38's going to be the great lead truck anymore with the nose damage.
Here's Parker Kligerman. Goes to the inside, see if he can get any help. Nobody goes with him.
You see the hood flaps coming up on the 38. That means there's a lot of air getting up underneath the hood, exhausting out of those hood flaps. You don't see the lead truck do that very often. So that tells me that you can see the gap right there where the hood meets the front bumper there. That's not good.
No.
The odds are going to be stacked against the front row trucks as long as the 38 of Chandler Smith is leading the way. He's just got too much damage to the nose of the race truck that is bogging down that entire inside line. And they're starting to lose numbers as a result of them going backwards, and they're going to start going even further back the longer they go, leading to a single file line now around the top. And it's the 3 Tricon garage trucks who have found themselves at the front of the field once again. Ruggiero in the 17, the 15 of Tanner Gray, the 11 of Corey Heim. And the rookie Ruggiero, not only a rookie full-time in the Truck Series this season, but making his Truck Series debut tonight, trying to pull off the upset and go 1 for 1 at the Craftsman Truck Series level. Couple of the veterans not that far behind. Highest running Chevy, Daniel Hemrick in 4th. With 7 laps to go, a couple trucks pulling out of line. Grant Enfinger trying to pull out of the top down to the bottom, but nobody went with him. Parker Kligerman's down there, but he's a little too far back for the time being. So with 6.5 laps to go, we'll quickly go through the leaderboard while things are still single file. Giovanni Ruggiero leads the race. Tanner Gray in 2nd, Corey Heim 3rd, Daniel Hemrick is 4th. Bailey Curry 5th, Johnny Sutter in 6th. Ty Majeski 7th, Ben Rhodes 8th, Andres Perez 9th, and Lane Riggs has fallen to 10th. Jake Garcia 11th, Grant Enfinger 12th, Timmy Hill 13th, 14th for Parker Kligerman, and Justin Haley 15th. William Sawalichin 16th, 17th for Jason White. Chandler Smith with the nose damage fell back to 18th after leading the most laps, 34 laps led for him today. Norm Benny 19th, and Mason Maggio is 20th. Frankie Muniz 21st, Josh Rium 22nd, Spencer Boyd 23rd, Tony Breidinger, last truck in the lead lap, in 24th. Stuart Friesen, 25th, 1 lap down. Same for Jack Wood in 26th. And Dawson Sutton in 27th. Michael McDowell still in the race after that last crash. Same for Matt Craft at 28, 29. 2 laps down, 5 laps down for Matt Mills. 31st on back, out of the race. Raja Caruth out. Nathan Bird, 32nd. Connor Mosack, 33rd. Clay Greenfield, 34th. Tyler Ankrum, 35th. And Caden Honeycutt, 36th. So that is the full field running order. 5 laps to go, this time by at the line. More of the field starting to double up outside the top 5 positions as trucks are making headway down on the bottom groove of the racetrack. And it's led by Ben Rhodes, who started on the pole, won Stage 1, finished second in Stage 2. Haven't seen much of him in Stage 3 until now. 44 popped out of the top down to the bottom in front of him. That's Bailey Curry. Curry trying to take a run to the front of the field with one of the faster trucks behind him. Curry pulls to the inside of the second place truck, and the Tricon Garage trucks, who still remain on the outside, don't have the advantage they once did. And Bailey Curry to the point, entering turns 3 and 4. They'll be coming from 4 to go. And now the 17 of Ruggiero gets hung out by his teammates. Nobody with the 17 on the outside, 3 wide as he goes backwards. Pinches off the 19, almost caused a wreck. Big stack up in the outside. More ground lost for the 19 of Hemrick on back behind the 17. A desperation move to keep from falling to the tail end of the pack. Ruggiero continues on. He's the 4th truck in line on the outside. Grant Enfinger leads the Tricon Garage trucks on the top. Tries to pull a block into the middle, and they are just not staying organized up there. Another 3 wide split. Same thing that happened to the 17 just happened to the 9. 4 wide on the back straightaway. The 66 jams himself up the middle, trying to miss everybody. 34 sideways with a push. Everybody's hanging everybody out to dry. Nobody wants to work with the leader in that second line. Somehow or another, the 15, 11, and the 17 have found themselves 1, 2, 3 on the top again, but this time it's Tanner Gray in the 15 who's going to lead them. 3 laps to go. The top 3 trucks on the bottom are clear. Ben Rhodes leads. Parker Kligerman is second, and Lane Riggs is third. Kligerman pushing the 99, trying to keep the advantage to the bottom. They don't want that top lane to get up there and try to spoil the party again. Since the Tricon Garage trucks have ran 1, 2, 3, at least they're starting to stay a little bit more steady in that second line. A lot of bobbing and weaving going on. Kligerman's going to pull up to try to block the 15. We'll see if they try to split Kligerman. They've already hung out a couple trucks in front of them. Kligerman's going to get the push from Tanner Gray instead for the moment. Nose to nose with the leader entering turn 3. Power move for the Fords down on the bottom, and Rhodes is clear again off turn 4. Third line starting to form back around the 2 Thorsport trucks in the middle of the pack. That being the 66 of Johnny Sauter lead that line. And he's got the 99, or 98 rather, of Ty Majeski with him. All the Tricon Garage trucks go up to block them. Kligerman as well stays in front of the 15, who's still pushing him towards the front of that outside lane. Still 3 wide from about the 4th row on back. Top 3 cars in both the top and the bottom run side by side for the lead. Lap and a half to go. If they get to the white flag, the next flag would end the race. Will we end this thing under green? Rhodes is all sorts of sideways, getting pushed in the middle of the corner by Lane Riggs before he let go. Outside more steady. They'll have slight more momentum off the exit of turn 4. Third lane foreman again, led by Johnny Sauter. 4th row back from the lead. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Rhodes have a lead, led that lap at the line. Kligerman still trying to lead the charge in lane number 2. Lane number 3 is coming as they enter the corner. Kligerman goes up to block the 3rd lane. Somebody might have scraped the 3rd lane. Kligerman to the point, but the 66 gets a push. Big push. Great job holding on to it. Everybody's all over the place. There's contact, and around goes the 99. As he slides to the inside of the racetrack with the 66, we stay green. 34 wrecks in front of the middle of the pack. The front of the field is bunched together. No caution yet. And now the caution's out. And your race winner is going to be Parker Kligerman. In the 75, as he was able to hold off the 11 of Corey Heim coming to the checker. Parker Kligerman is a winner in the Truck Series on a super speedway again. It didn't end under green, but we did get to the white flag and finish this race under its regulation length. On a relatively longer green flag run, 13 laps. until that caution, of course, on the 100th lap, the last one of the race. Several trucks tore up from the went for a spin.
Caused a wreck and then another one and another one.
It's official. Parker Kligerman gets the win. It's his first win since Mid-Ohio in July of 2022.
He can wheel a truck.
This is the little team that could.
Yeah, and we saw the controversy that he had with a race that had gone his way at the Roval last year in Xfinity. Putting himself in position to capitalize on this race tonight. He has won a Daytona. What a race. Those guys did unbelievable. That's one of the best truck races I've seen at Daytona in a long time as far as keeping those trucks rolling, and everybody in the field did a great job. I know they crashed at the end, but carnage was lower tonight than normal.
Didn't look like it was easy to drive, whether they're getting pushed or just driving by themselves off the turn. So,
Henderson Motorsports, third career win. Charlie Henderson, of course, thinking about him. Team owner, under the weather. God, this has got to bring a smile to his face.
Yeah, and this team has been in and out of the truck series for several years. You see Food Country on the side of this truck has been a big supporter of this program for a long time. Parker's going to be excited.
Yes, he is. Big machine spiked coolers on board with him. Part-timer did a great job tonight. He did it.
nothing like winning in Daytona.
Way to go, Parker.
It's the coolest place you could get the checkered flag.
The fact that really, you know what you're doing. You bring a solid truck, big team, small team, it doesn't matter. This small team just won the Craftsman Truck Series race at Daytona. So many hugs all around. Lane Riggs frustrated. One of the trucks that wrecked there on the last lap. There were a lot of them.
Yeah, and those guys did a great job all night. Lane and Chandler Smith did a great job. Gio, you see all those really young guys that are gonna have a long career and everything that's happening. See them shake hands right there, and that's the tough part about this. You can have a great night and just not get to the finish line and wind up finishing 18th like Lane Riggs did.
Well, if you never heard about Gio Ruggiero, you have now.
Mhm.
That was really impressive. He's in this series full time. What a debut tonight. The helmet is off. One happy winner. Regan Smith is there.
Well, Jamie Little, it has been one heck of a celebration down here on the front stretch. Parker Kligerman returns to Henderson Motorsports this year on a part-time basis. Parker, this is Daytona. You just won at Daytona, bud.
Daytona! Biggest win of my entire life. Thank you, Don and Charlie Henderson. I wish they were here right now. Scott, we did it finally! Scott Borchetta, thank you for giving us this beautiful truck. Chris Carrier, who makes this whole thing happen, but man, I'm out of breath. I can't believe it. I just was making moves and just like, I don't know, I just, every move I made felt like it worked. And for some reason, it really did. These guys built an amazing truck. I can't believe we're here. Thank you, Spike Coolers. Finally get them in victory lanes after the last 2 years. Means a lot, but this is been so close the last couple years. This means so much. To win the biggest place. We're just doing all the TV stuff today. Talking about how much this place means to all you fans here at Daytona. Thank you so much. God, I love this place. I love racing. I love winning. I'm ready for the next chapter of my life, but still means a lot. Happy Valentine's Day to all the moms out there as well.
The Craftsman Truck Series race at Daytona.
And off camera, Corey Heim has been just giving so much praise to Gio Ruggiero tonight and how well he did out there. And Corey, I know you were a little bummed over the radio after this race, but your team reminded you it was a great points day and the future is ahead. How would you summarize it?
Yeah, no doubt. Nothing short of crazy there in the last 20 laps. Honestly, pretty impressed with everyone that we kept the trade for as long as we did. Of course, they powered it up a little bit on the last lap, but compared to last year, it was such a big upgrade as far as the quality of racing. Definitely was out of control there at the end, just with being 3 wide middle and old tires being free. But yeah, like I said, hats off to Gio and Tanner. William was there up there with us at the end, and everyone did a really good job here at Truck on Garage. Huge thank you to Toyota as well. Our Country Tier Pro was really good all night. I feel like we put ourselves in good position. Scott Thibodeau did a great job up in the box, and take a safe flight down to Atlanta and try to get one better.
We'll see you there.
Thanks.
Gotta love that emotion from Parker Kligerman.
Plants the flag.
Flag in the infield.
Probably helps. It might be a little soft from some of the rain this week.
Headshot and see where it all started here.
Well, you see, they're obviously 3 wide off of turn 2, and as they head down the backstretch, Parker in the top lane right there. You see the 66 of Sauter and the trucks behind him start to get kind of all over the place, and then they finally got each other out of control in the bottom lane and shot him up the racetrack into the 66, and that kind of turned it all into a mess.
Yeah, I really thought down the back straightaway there, that top lane with Johnny Sauter had the gap to Parker. He was out there pretty far, had the push coming to him. That was going to be the run that was going to take the lead right here down the back straightaway. I thought that run right there, he was going to clear the 99 and he was going to be able to get underneath it, but the push wasn't clean. And that's really what changed everything. And all the other pushes weren't clean either.
What a move by Heim.
When you get to the end of these races, you just push until something happens, and that's what happened right there. You just have the biggest pushes that you've had all night. But this is also the reason that you want to be the leader. Just as we talked earlier in the race, you want to be in the lead to take control in case this happens, because 9 times out of 10 it does.
Right. And this is the second crash, if you will. There was one down the back straightaway, and then it kind of kept going.
Yeah, it definitely looked like NASCAR was going to keep it green when the first 2 trucks, the 99 and the 66, went spinning to the bottom of the track getting into 3. They were well out of the way, and they were in no danger of coming back up on the racing surface. But then when the second crash happened, the bigger one of the 2 that collected a lot when Lane Riggs had gotten sideways, and it looked like the 15 might have cut a tire because he was sideways all the way from entering turn 3 until he finally lost control of the exit of turn 4, and everything else obviously with other trucks piling in behind. It looks like they have gone off of the air on FS1 already. Obviously, congratulations to Parker Kligerman for getting the race win. Margin of victory is going to be under caution with the final yellow coming out on the final lap as they were exiting turn 4. Again, we finished under a regulation length of 60 laps in stage 3, but 100 laps total in today's total time on the race from lap 1 to lap 100. 30 lead changes, 32 laps ran under the yellow. Parker Kligerman, again, race winner. He only led 2 laps. He does get credited with the last lap pass as well, because Ben Rhodes had actually led coming to the white flag on that 99 truck in the outside lane. And despite leading coming to the white flag, he ends up 21st. Other finishing positions, obviously, outside of Kligerman, who wins. Corey Heim snuck through, missed the carnage, made some great moves in 3 and 4 to miss some slower cars, missed some spinning trucks, and was able to get up to second there right behind Kligerman. It looked like he was going to try to make a move on it, but then the caution came out before he had a chance to race him into the tri-oval. Giovanni Ruggiero in his debut, great run, led 11 laps, gets a 3rd place finish. Ty Majeski finishes in 4th, and Grant Enfinger rounds out the top 5 in 5th. Justin Haley finishes 6th, quiet but solid day there. Great comeback for Chandler Smith, also missing the wrecks. He was around 20th there in the final couple laps of the race with the nose damage, but ends up 7th. Daniel Hemrick in 8th, Jason White with a solid underdog top 10, finishing 9th, and William Sawalich rounds out the top 10 in position 10. Frankie Muniz, how about his Truck Series debut here tonight? He finishes 11th, well, debut for the season, as he will be a rookie full-time this year, and I think he'll be second the Rookie of the Year points, only behind Ruggiero after race 1, as he finishes in 11th. Timmy Hill ends up 12th, Jake Garcia in 13th, Mason Maggio 14th, Norm Benning with a top 15. Way to go, Norm. Andres Perez 16th, Johnny Sauter 17th, Lane Riggs wrecked and fell back to 18th there in the final lap, was in the top 5. Spencer Boyd 19th, Josh Ream 20th, Ben Rhodes, who I mentioned, led coming to the white by a nose over Kligerman side by side, ends up 21st after his spin entering turn 3. Bailey Curry 22nd just behind him, who was also leading laps in the final couple. Tanner Gray 23rd, Stuart Friesen 24th, Jack Wood 25th. 23 trucks, by the way, finished on the lead lap in this one. Tanner Gray was the last of which. Dawson Sutton, 26. Michael McDowell, 27th. Matt Crafton, 28th. Tony Breidinger, 29th. Matt Mills, 30th. Roger Crew, 31st. Nathan Burt, 32nd. Connor Mosack, 33rd. Clay Greenfield, 34th. Tyler Rankin, 35th. And Caden Honeycutt rounds out our 36 truck field. In total, only 6 DNFs tonight, despite the 8 cautions and despite the 8 truck wreck that we had leading up to the final restart, which was with 13 laps to go. Appreciate everybody tuning in here in this one. A feel-good story. Parker Kligerman getting the race win here tonight from the past before. He does it again. Part-time effort this year for Parker. Maybe he runs the full season going forward so he gets that playoff spot. But no, in all reality, I don't think he's going to be running full-time anymore, but a great run for him here this evening. And hopefully we have more good racing to come. I'm sure we will. We've got a triple header tomorrow on the channel, starting at noon Eastern Time with the ARCA Series, running their opener at Daytona. It'll be the only ARCA race stream of the season. So we'll go live for that again at noon Eastern for that race. We'll also be live for final practice for the NASCAR Cup Series right after the ARCA race at 3 p.m. Eastern. And the final stream tomorrow will be at 5 p.m. Eastern for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. After the Xfinity Series wraps up their action, that means we have one more stream left, and that is the Daytona 500 on Sunday. We will be live at a special start time, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. I did put a community tab post earlier. NASCAR moved the start time up for the Daytona 500 from 2:30 to 1:30, so we will be going live at 12:30 instead of 1:30, 1 hour early before the start of the race still. So again, 12:30 updated start time for that one. Eastern time, of course, on Sunday afternoon. 4 streams to go, 4 streams down. We're halfway through Speed Week. A lot more action still to cover over the next 48 hours. Appreciate it as always, everybody. We'll be here all season. Have a good rest of your Friday night. And congratulations again to Parker Kligerman for winning the Fresh from Florida 250 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.